free. What did you think of episode 6 in particular, Jack?
Oh, I loved the exposition in it. It was very exposition-y, but good exposition. It sort of reminded me of conversations in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, being spoiler free, of course.
Well, you don't have to
Very
go further
good.
than that if you don't want to, because
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
yeah.
Definitely need to mute the stream. There we go. Hello, everyone.
And we are live.
Hey, Ian, you're not allowed to watch Hill House without me now. Okay, I made a rule.
Okay.
It's
Let's watch it together.
yeah, that could be cool. Not on stream though.
That'd
Genuinely.
take months, I reckon, with us.
I've watched it with a couple people now, and it's been like silence for an hour, and then we're like, okay, now we can talk about it.
I watched it with someone too.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. I appreciate your patience as always. We're getting started a little bit late. This is the Mediocre Decisions live stream. If you haven't been to one of these before, what it is essentially is a reason for Cal, Jack, and myself to hang out, have some beverages of the adult variety, most of us, and to watch a little Buffy, watch a little Angel. Cal, Jack, say hello.
Hi.
Hello there.
I'm Jack, and I'll be your Jack for this evening.
I won't be Jack this time around. I'm going to be Mauler this time.
So,
Okay.
one of the ways that we do, there's a few stories I think to talk about in case there were people who were not at the last stream. But the format that we've decided for this is that it's 2 hours of content, and we rotate which one of us gets to choose. So last time Jack chose Fight Club, and Cal,
a film that I love.
Cal, what are we watching this time?
I decided that why not just do my favorite thing to do with the Buffyverse, which is watch Wesley's arc unfold, because he is the best character, undeniably. There is no conversation about this. It's just
Them Spartan words.
And, I thought to myself, like, can't choose not fade away, because it's not all about Wesley. That episode, it's just got good Wesley moments in it. And what are episodes that are way more specific to him and about some of the biggest character changes for him? And then I was just like, and then which ones are my favorites? And they're all in season 5, of course.
Now, I'll be honest, one of my issues with your choices, it kind of happened when we were watching Fight Club, is when it's so good, I don't want to talk to you guys.
Thanks, man.
I just want to watch, especially if it were not...
It's our job to keep commentary going, isn't it?
Especially if it were not Fade Away or A Hole in the World. I would just be sitting here crying. Some of those episodes, we know from experience, make for rough live streams. Go ahead, Jack.
Oh, and I'm looking forward to Origin, because I can clarify my position on Origin. Me and Ian have talked about it before. But that shot where Wesley looks at Angel
I was just about to ask if we were going to see that, yeah.
It's that moment. There's so much to say about what is going on in Wesley's head if you consider all the facts.
Yeah.
That's the one when you showed me and we talked about it. I was like, that has to be method, right?
You're talking about the thing in shells. That's just an amazing
okay. Yeah, okay, right. Yeah, that's
good too.
Gut-wrenching.
Now,
though Origin is about Connor, that's true.
Part of the reason we're getting started a little bit late is because the three of us just recorded the DVD commentary track for the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie, which will be available over on Patreon, and eventually, when we have a website, I'll put it up for like 99 cents.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I don't recommend listening to it if you enjoy the movie.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
But we did apologize.
Yeah, and we're going to be picking out something for next month. But the goal is to do one of those commentaries per month. And for now, that's available on a specific tier over on Patreon. But eventually there'll be like $1 for available otherwise. But the other thing, too, is that these are for us to kind of hang out with you. So this is definitely, all three of us have chat open, and we'll be following along.
We certainly will.
And I was kind of resistant to saying it was cool that we do 3 episodes, because in my experience with the Bad Decisions streams, and Audrey can attest to this as well in chat, the third episode is usually a bit of a shit show.
Oh yeah.
An incoherent mess. So I'm gonna go light for the first part. We're all adults here.
Once again, I will be staying sober to keep this ship afloat.
Yes, very dignified. Someone needs to have dignity here, and it's definitely not going to be me.
Have dignity.
Next time though, Daddy's getting plastered.
All right, so we have the first episode queued up here. It's season 5, episode 7, and because I didn't want to make you guys wait too long, but for the stream, I know I'm always late. Part of being full time is I'm actually trying to fix that. It makes me sad that there's an Ian estimation of time meme going on in the community. So we'll fix that. But I have not eaten anything, so unfortunately, you've got to watch me eat while we hang in here and go. Is there anything else to say, gents?
Wait, you want to start the episode and then eat, is it?
I'm sure. Or the only thing I want to say is that I'm sure watching someone eat is a fetish for someone. So someone's going to enjoy that.
Hey, ASMR, baby. I promise to make nice, exciting lip smacking sounds. I'm not going to do that on purpose. The other thing, too, is we're not allowed to actually broadcast the movie, or rather the episodes, into the stream. And so I'm going to have the episode behind me, and it's darkened and desaturated. This would, obviously, the idea is so that you can sort of stay in sync with us while you watch along. But if you want to watch the episode, you should have the episode queued up. And we're starting with season 5, episode 7.
Lineage.
Yeah. Are we all ready?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So I'm going to hit play in 3, 2, 1, play.
Quintessentially a Wesley episode. So much so that he's not even in the next one. They have that throwaway line where it's like, Wesley's on a leave of absence. It's like, oh, okay.
This is the father one, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And interestingly, we only heard
episode.
about Emil through a phone call in one of the episodes in season 4. Now we get to see him as a character in season 5. The collapsible sword salesman. And it's weird as well. I'm pretty sure he's one of the pirates in Pirates of the Caribbean, that actor.
Really?
I
Wow.
think so. In the first film, I'd have to check.
Caitlin says, "Goon" in capital letters. You must be Australian.
That's a movie. Have you seen that?
Goon? No.
It's with
I've seen
Sean
Goonies.
Scott. I thought it.
Oh, we didn't make up rules.
Oh, something sad happens.
Be sad.
Drink when you feel sad, which is all the time.
Next rule.
Wesley is like, I don't know, in some way condescended.
What about Wesley smart talk when he says something intellectual sounding?
All right.
Oh, I love you, Fred. I love you so much.
I love you, Fred. That's gonna be a drink.
Whoops.
I'm just gonna say I love, and then parentheses scene character. Daddy issues.
Daddy issues, yeah.
And,
gonna be a
and
lot of
donations. Super
yeah,
chat,
of course.
super chat donations. All right. I'm way too self-conscious to eat my sandwich on camera, so the third episode is guaranteed to be a shit show. Here we go.
Oh, Ian.
You'll get your money.
Yeah, so I think what we're supposed to assume here is that they're trying to sell to him to find the supplier to eventually knock the supplier out. But then ninjas get in the way.
Right.
Oh yes, the cat enjoys sleeping on the green screen, so she's going to be a part of this ensemble.
Ensemble?
Ensemble. Wow. Fancy words.
Yeah, obviously this would tie into the seasons of the thing about Wolfram and Hart is making them evil when they've got good guys fighting them, basically.
Right.
Wesley having his Max Payne moment.
Oh yeah, that was very Max Payne. All that was missing was the bullet time.
Why you just shoot him? You got a gun, dude.
Yeah, that's kind of odd.
I guess he was that
also-
spooked by him.
It reminds me a little bit of Darla season 1.
I suppose you could argue that it would have been a bit better if he'd wrapped the chain around him first, and then he said, "Wait, no, don't," and then.
That's kind of the equilibrium Gunkata style that he was
Yeah.
showing off there.
Angel with his, it's almost like it's one of his powers to burst through the window at the right time.
Wow, that was bad.
Angel got kind of chunky for season 5.
Yeah, supposedly he had back issues, and so couldn't work out to the same degree. We've commented on it on streams before.
I think it might have
Husky
hit him
Angel.
personally because when he started out Bones, he lost a lot of weight.
Well,
He's very bony.
he had to get a job. Oh, epics! I just wanted to say the intros to your Buffy and Angel guide videos are truly excellent. I got to give credit to Assad. He's in the credits of every video. He is the one who made them, and he's working on the Firefly
Amazingly
one.
talented man.
Cheers!
Amazingly talented.
I appreciate the donation. I actually hired him.
Welcome, M-Pack.
I hired him to make one for a video series I haven't started yet. That's really kind of cool.
Have we talked about that?
The video series I haven't started yet, or the Firefly?
No, the one you haven't started yet. I'm trying to think of
I
what
haven't.
you're talking
I
about.
haven't. Oh, you and I have probably talked about it, but you and I talk about everything,
Okay.
Jack.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna risk a bite of my
just thinking,
sandwich.
You know about the meeting thing we sort of covered in the Buffy film. You know, like how Angel having a bit more weight. People could probably extrapolate. It's like it's a part of the season's theme of kind of turning him soft, making him more useless.
I mean,
guess.
I guess you can kind of justify anything if you really try.
I mean, I still made that point. I wouldn't say like that's. I would say it's probably not intentional, but it's still interesting to think about.
And it's not too outrageous either. Oh, is Jonathan Woodward in this?
Well, probably is Knox, isn't he?
Yeah.
This is a little.
Ooh, Angry Angel.
Caitlin, $5 donation. Truly
More
brilliant
drinking.
content. Thank you. I appreciate
And
it.
Roy Dutrice, rest in peace. He was awesome.
Thank you, Caitlin.
Cheers, everyone.
Do you know it's one of the reasons people are very annoyed at J.J. Abrams, George R.R. Martin, for not finishing the books for Game of Thrones was that Roy Dutrice couldn't finish his audio commentary. Reading them. Because he had the most listened to audiobooks for them, and obviously he's died now, so he can't finish them.
Although I
didn't know
gotta
about
say, I'm pretty angry with J.J. Abrams as well.
Yeah, that's a totally other thing. But yeah, I like the way this episode begins already is Angel's pissed at Wesley in general because of the Connor stuff, and then he's pissed at the fact that he's gotten Fred hurt when Angel's assuming it's just because he fancies her.
Thomas Nash says, Chunky Angel has more of a hard-boiled detective feel. Ironically, Season 5 of Angel isn't that much of a noir season. Please, Chunky is not the preferred nomenclature.
Yeah, it's Chonka.
Husky. As a husky man myself, I can say. Husky.
By the way, have I mentioned that I love Fred?
Well, You can't do that,
I
man.
think-
We actually have to drink for those rules.
True.
Rule number 3.
Though I really like my drink right now, so I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
Oh, is that? Oh, I didn't realize love was a rule. I'm sorry, but I mean, admittedly, whenever we talk Buffy or Angel, I usually mention my love for Fred. It's just a guarantee.
Well, that's why it's a rule.
Sure.
Joe White in chat. Welcome.
How this scene degenerates quickly because of accidentally humiliating Fred in a way from Wesley. Yeah, you're kind of useless.
Mm.
Eric Johnson, Husky Angel is my angel. When I watch season 1 of Buffy Angel, I'm like, who is this skinny teenager?
That's even worse when you go back to season 1 of Buffy. It's like, wow, he looks like a kid.
Caitlin asks, what am I drinking? I recently went into a long rant on one of the editing streams about how Jess has taken me away from all of the masculine beverages I used to drink to now I actually drink boxed wine, rosé, and Chardonnay. Yeah, she did that.
Was season 5 of Angel the only one in HD for all the seasons? Because it seems so much
yes.
cleaner.
They were all shot in 16:9. No, I believe season 2. No, they were all shot in 16:9, but this is the only HD season.
Thank you, Boris. I appreciate your support, brother.
I mean, everyone here loves Faith. I just realized what that was about. So I like Faith.
Yeah, I mean, Faith's kind of a given, though. She's sexy, but in a scary way.
It's too bad she wasn't in Sanctuary more. It would have been a better episode. Nailed it.
Oh, you're just asking for it, aren't you?
Sorry.
Let's not go there,
Yeah,
gents.
apologies.
It's going to end in a shit fight.
He poked the beehive and apologized. It's all good.
I thought it was funnier more than it was serious.
Although, Cal, you would be outnumbered.
But that's never stopped me.
Yeah, no, that doesn't matter.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point.
I just want to have the sheet for this one. Oh, wow. The picture of Jonathan Woodward on IMDb is kind of terrifying. But I was looking at... Oh, Roy Dotrice. The name is the actor who plays Wesley's father. One of those we've seen everywhere.
He's actually in Game of Thrones, by the way.
Looking at he?
Who is he?
He plays he plays the wildfire pyromancer dude. He puts on a voice for it. He puts on loads of voices for his audiobooks, and it's really cool. He doesn't just do this very posh English accent. He has like loads of different accents.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he nails this role, sort of thing.
Looking at his resume, I realized the thing I actually know him from that I'm most familiar with the actor with is he was in the 1980s television show version of Beauty and the Beast with Linda Hamilton and Ron Perlman.
What? That actually happened?
Yeah,
wow.
there was a TV show version of Beauty and the Beast, and I loved it when I was 10 years old.
Was George R. R. Martin tied to that?
I don't know. I don't think so. But Ron Perlman
I have
was
a vague
the
memory of
Beast.
that being the case.
Thomas Nash says, I'm disappointed Dan was never shot in morbidly obese Angel.
And, Klutzy Wesley returns.
Yeah,
They actually bring back the it is perfect. They bring back the physical shtick when he's around his father.
Lorne.
He's just losing all of his confidence.
Oh shit, sorry, I said I loved a character.
Oh, you son of a biscuit.
but Lorne is so great. He's amazing. And I know Jess is my only ally there.
What?
I love Lorne.
Why'd you keep assuming we don't like characters?
Yeah.
No,
there's
Ian, Ian,
What?
you you and I have discussed this with Jess, and you said you don't really like Lorne. You keep flip-flopping.
I never said I didn't like him. When we get into Jess likes to start these fights about who is the best character, and if I don't pick her best character, she thinks that I hate that character. With Lorne, I feel like there's a scale of development, and at the high end of the scale are the characters that experience the most amount of development, and then there's the middle and the bottom. At the bottom, I kind of feel Fred and Lorne have the least amount of development on the show.
Oh, yes, but
too narrow for me. Characters don't require development or an arc to be awesome. Look at Jack Sparrow.
Lorne...
Darth Vader from episode 4.
But I think Lorne in Not Fade Away is amazing. That was
no, but that's the thing is I enjoy all the characters in the Angels Core ensemble. But I think some of them are given more epic moments and greater development than others, and that's.
Oh yeah, of course.
But does that change how much you like him?
For me, it does. I'm not saying it should for everyone. There's not an objective rating in this case.
But
not when it comes to liking stuff. No.
Yeah.
But see, my love for Lorne and even Fred isn't necessarily based on their arcs. It's who they are as people. Like Lorne is just nice and he's cool, and I want to drink sea breezes with him. You know, he's just.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. If I had a problem, I would bring it to Lorne on the show.
Yeah,
you know, he's the most fatherly of the figures.
But if we were to take Spike and Lorne, Fred out of Angel, Lorne would be my favorite character, without a doubt.
I missed a couple of
think he's awesome.
Couple of messages here. Sorry. Epics. Would you say that Wesley underwent the greatest arc? Yeah, definitely. And I think that's the distinction: is there's character and then there's arc. And for me, my interest in the character is highly driven by watching them change and develop and grow or suffer. And in Wesley's case,
well, I mean, season 4 Spike, for example, it's not like we need him to change. He was just an amazing character.
And
go ahead.
Everybody knows by now that Spike is my guy. But if we're talking arcs, I love Spike's arc, but Wesley's would inch ahead just. Not by much, but just.
Eric Johnson says George R.R. Martin was one of the main 2 or 3 writers on the 80s Beauty and the Beast. That's good to know. That actually kind of makes me want to go back and watch it. Cheesy, and it's one of those shows it's one of those shows with Vaseline on the lens the entire time because that was romantic in the 80s.
This bit. Spike just doesn't give a shit, and I love it.
Thomas Nash says not best, but who do you think is the most underappreciated character?
On Angel or just in general?
Probably in the Buffyverse.
Probably Buffyverse, yeah.
I'd say Jonathan.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion, actually.
I don't know if Jonathan's underappreciated, right? Is he?
Most people don't like him.
Yeah, most people don't. I think it's because
see any reason not to like him other than a few mistakes he makes.
It's his association with the trio. I think that really does it. But I
like him more than Andrew. FYI,
I like Andrew a lot.
I maintain that the only person in the trio that is truly evil is Warren.
Yeah.
I think the other 2 are just easily led lonely kids.
Well,
that I did use that in my solo video, by the way. The having sex with robots isn't as weird as people think, and they'll give him a look. It's so great because of the season 5 shit, isn't it?
I think underappreciated also kind of goes hand in hand with ones that I think don't get a fair shake. People like to bag on Dawn, and I don't find Dawn. I find Dawn annoying in a perfectly proper kind of way. You know,
that doesn't make her not annoying.
A teenage. But that doesn't mean that she's a bad character if it's in fitting with her age and the amount of trauma she's experienced and what she's been through.
Yeah. And I do think Dawn was kind of meant to be annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't make her not annoying.
Yeah, I agree. And this might start a fight amongst us and the chat, but I prefer Connor over Dawn.
Oh.
Dun dun dun.
Okay,
I don't
reasoning,
even. I
is-
hate Connor so much. I don't even want to talk about him. So you give your reasons,
But-
and then then we're
Okay.
done.
Okay, but Connor gets some kind of redemption. Like his last few appearances, he's enjoyable, and like you know where he kills Sarjan and everything. Like he's genuinely enjoyable. Dawn doesn't get that. Not on him, in my opinion. Anyway.
Spike realizing he doesn't need to run away.
Moving on.
I was gonna say, do you wanna? If you wanna, I think Connor's horrible. So
Now we're talking
am I
about
alone
these
here?
episodes. One of the things.
well,
one of the
you're
things.
not alone in
Go ahead.
considering season 5 because I like him in season 5, but that's as
Okay.
Ian has pointed out before, it's almost a completely different character by the show's own admission.
Okay, yeah, I will admit that. Yeah.
What-
But there's still traces of him there. He does
True.
figure out that Angel's his dad. But yeah.
Him having some residue of old Connor is why it's so effective, I think, as well. It's
Yeah, I'd
you get
agree
to
with
think
that.
he's
Slim-
gone through all that stuff, but
Go ahead.
season 4 Connor. Oh.
Slanted Frames Productions says watching early Buffy and knowing where Jonathan is heading is like watching a Shakespearean tragedy. I appreciate him on that level, definitely, and
Yeah, for sure. It's quite tragic.
especially
just-
in the early episodes where he almost gets murdered on Inca Mummy Girl, which I believe is his first appearance. And later in Reptile Boy, when Cordelia says she's over college boys, she's bossing Jonathan around. And then later in The Wish, when Cordy has just been cheated on by Xander, Jonathan is used as the low status symbol by Harmony when she says, "I found a new
Right.
boyfriend for you." He had such a tragic, painful, and then Earshot, of course.
There's almost a tragic hero element to his arc because he does try to do the right thing towards the end.
I think he
Doing
finds
significant things before he dies.
Yeah, he finds a redemption. Thomas says actually meant main cast, most underappreciated. I think everyone gets their
Oh.
due.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking strictly from the fans' perspective, I don't know because there's supporters of all the main cast really.
Yeah, I don't know that any character is sort of given too much grief than what they deserve. Or anything.
Audrey says his first appearance is actually the pilot. So that's good.
Who's?
Jonathan's.
Oh, okay, right.
And he went on to he's like a screenwriter, isn't he?
Yeah, he's very accomplished. Yeah, I love Jonathan though. I think there's like a part of me that relates to him in some way. Joyce, I mean, yes.
Someone in one of the previous streams said that she feels like I don't give Joyce a fair shake.
You will though.
Right.
Yeah.
And my
She's
issue
not
is,
got anything in season 4 really. It's season 5 where Joyce comes around fully.
Joyce is I think the actress is phenomenal and Joyce has wonderful moments, but I also think Joyce is too often used as a storytelling tool, as a plot device rather than as a character.
You destroyed my car, Buffy. You're grounded. Buffy, you need to go to the Buffy. It's just like,
Yeah.
And until the end, she's very much treated like an ancillary character in a way.
I mean, it's part of the tragedy that she's getting involved with them, talking about glory and what they need to do and everything just before she's out. It's like, oh, she was integrated.
She does have some wonderful moments, and I can empathize with her dilemma, even if I don't agree with her actions. We were specifically.
Oh, she's a full-on parent in the first few seasons.
Yeah, specifically, we were talking about the scene where she has just discovered that Buffy is the Slayer and says, "You walk out of that house, don't even think about coming back." It's a tough moment, and
yeah, that bit bothers me.
She's clearly in the wrong, but I can empathize with her situation. I mean, as a parent, she's trying to keep Buffy safe, and she's using the last weapon she has to try and keep her with her.
I also think at that point she doesn't really understand the gravity of the whole thing. I don't think she entirely gets it then.
Hard to get the consequences.
By the way, the two of my friends who guessed that he was evil before the reveal, one of them guessed it in this room. He was like, he's eyeing up those books way too much. He's evil, and I was like, damn it.
Yeah, it's.
And the other one guessed it from the moment he was introduced. I told you guys about this before, but it was a friend of mine called Alex. He was literally like, they've just showed us all these robot people. He's going to be like their leader or something.
I
See,
think I was
don't think
hardcore
it's-
binging this when I watched this the first time, and so I was probably 4 episodes deep that day, and so I was just caught in the wave. I wasn't sitting here thinking.
I
Trying to
believed
figure
it,
out what
and
was
when he
happening.
shot him, I
Yeah.
believed he'd killed his
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah,
I can't. Oh yeah, I believed. I can't really remember the first time I saw it, but I do remember being like shocked at that bit. I did believe it was his dad, but yeah, him being evil. I don't think it's too hidden. Like I wouldn't be surprised if someone was able to guess it.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with it. I really am
Mm.
okay with it. How much there's a few clues here and there. But what I
Right.
would have preferred was to bring this character in a couple of episodes before,
Hmm.
so that we have reason. And imagine he just has 1 or 2 scenes of Wesley before this episode.
Yeah, it'd. Yeah, it's always better when there's a bit more development.
Makes it hit harder. Yeah, him saying that, I think there was my friend was like, "Why is he asking these questions?" And I was like, "Because he's concerned." He's like, "No, he's evil."
now that is a soundstage, right?
Looks like
Probably.
it.
There's no flicker to those lights, no atmosphere.
Oh yeah, this little bit
Gods.
by here, it usually struck me as like came out of nowhere. Like, why is Spike picking on here? But he does actually have a moment in the lab where she stares at him for a little bit too long when he talks about something and he notices it. So they do
One
try
of
and
my
set it up.
one of my many favorite Spike moments is not this girl, not this day. Love
Yeah.
it so much.
I think they nailed it with making everybody care about Fred separately.
Yeah, it all feels
Because-
grounded and
And it makes sense because she's such a sweetheart.
I do think that season 5 Spike is not on the level of season 6 and 7 and 5.
Oh, yeah,
Buffy.
no, I'd agree
He's-
with that. I'd agree with
He's
that.
almost brought in for comic relief
Yeah.
while
Yeah.
settling his differences with Angel. That's basically his function in this
Yeah,
season.
he does. Oh,
Yeah,
And he's great. I still think he's great.
I love.
he's
seeing-
my favorite character, but I prefer him in 6 and 7, without a doubt.
It would be like if Angel ended first and they decided to drop Wesley back into Buffy. We'd be like, what is this?
Audrey just called us out. Drink. He loves. Someone said he loves that scene. I'm gonna guess.
All right, I'll
who
drink
that
my
was.
water.
I love that line as well.
Yeah.
Going back to Joyce for a moment, I'm not much of a Angel fan, but I maintain that it's Joyce's fault that they broke up. She planted the seeds of doubt.
Yeah.
protected
Well,
her.
no, but I think that ultimately it was a good thing. In season 3, they were risking
Yeah.
making the same mistake they made in season 2.
Yeah,
It's a
What a
doomed
bold
relationship.
decision to not only cut their relationship but to start a Boda spin-off show. It's like, oof.
Yeah. I mean, you would think that it just wouldn't work, but it did, and it worked very well.
The thing that makes this season so joyful is what I was talking about from Warzone, not Warzone, the one I'm writing right now.
Primeval?
No, sorry, I'm momentarily distracted because shiny things are moving on screen.
We got action, folks.
Blind
I've
Date.
always-
The thing I really enjoy about Blind Date is the Ocean's 11 section where they break into Wolfram and Hart, and you get a sense of the whimsy and fantasy to the Buffy lore, the universe. They could have gone that route. The show is incredibly focused on character instead of lore, but lore can be fun and fanciful and wonderful escapism. And season 5 of this one has that in spades, I think.
Oh, Blind
there's
Date.
loads to explore.
That's what it is.
Yeah, Blind Date.
I was gonna say the fight scenes across like the Buffy Angel sort of shows have always just been they're just fine. The action's never amazing, but it's never well, I mean a couple of times it might be outwardly terrible.
I think for
You got
TV of
sub doubles.
this era,
I always thought it passes the test, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because like there's lots of cuts and there's lots of like, oh, that's a body double. And like every vampire is an acrobatic kung fu expert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they put that into the lore.
I love
Don't they
that
point
conceit.
that out at some point in Buffy?
Well, you have Jonathan Woodward saying that it's like, I knew jujitsu already or whatever, so...
Yeah.
But I don't think he ever says... I don't know, do they ever point that
No,
out?
I could have sworn it's brought up as like a joke.
I do love
some
the
point.
conceit. That's one of the more amusing things about the show is that every supernatural being knows some form of kung fu. I think, and it's not particularly addressed. It just is. I really enjoy that.
And I mean, you could sort of say that some of them have super strength, but that doesn't equate to martial arts.
I was going to say, it's not like Adam had it. He just punched. You know, he was just like, meh, meh. But all vampires seem to have kung fu.
T. Vinson says, I really like the action scenes in Doppelgangland. That's probably the best fight sequence for me on the show.
Oh, yeah. It's a really good one.
Really good.
So fluid and fast and dynamic.
And chaotic as well, but not in like a messy way.
Like I'm remembering, it's like Angel next to a pool table, right?
We were talking in the Buffy commentary about how action needs to be motivated. And in that bit, action actually informs the theme, where Buffy jumps on stage and goes to stake Dark Willow. And Willow says, Buffy, don't. And unlike Faith, Buffy catches herself and doesn't stake her, which is thematic commentary in that season.
Yeah.
And it's exciting and fluid and entertaining.
Well, Joss Whedon, like the Russo brothers for me, and Mike Flanagan, who made Hill House, these are people that when you spot something like that, you're like, was that deliberate? You go, it probably was. Like, these are people who care about these things.
Larissa says they call it out in conversations with dead people too. Oh yeah, Jonathan Woodward, you were right.
Yeah.
Says,
well, like I said, he doesn't. I don't think he says that. He says he already knew it, and it's like it's.
Oh yeah, lessons at the Y.
There's another scene. I think it might be Willow. I can't remember, but it's brought up as like a joke.
I do have a vague memory of it being joked about.
I was taking Taekwondo lessons at the Y, which I think Snyder also says, but he's not a vampire in that scene.
Oh man, imagine that he got turned into a vampire at the end of season 3 and came back in 4.
I would love it. I would love it.
That makeup looked gross.
I wonder what they would want to do with a Snyder villain. Would he want it to be effective or funny?
Great.
Would they want it to be intimidating or funny though?
I think it would have worked better as a comedic villain.
Like an incompetent vampire. Ugh, that's always grossed me out a bit. When he pulls that off.
It's very Hellraiser.
Yeah. Snyder was mostly played for comedy anyway.
You guys ever taken the label off like a tin of beans and stretched it out? Or ever seen what it looks like? It looks like that's what the helmet is.
Now I feel sick.
These are the beans on his face.
The vascular system there.
I always thought this was pretty clever, by the way. It's like, yeah, Wesley knows about this. He knows how to activate it and deactivate it. And he has to bet on the fact that these guys would not want the plan to fail. They'd rather reveal the plan than let the plan fail, you know? Unlike a certain Holdo. I'm not bitter, shut up.
It's coming.
Oh, I do love the spike bit coming up here as well. I've always imagined, picture being the guy with the chain. You're like, wait, is this an actual dude? He's not punching. I guess I'll just keep straggling.
He's not really trying to get away from him either.
Yeah.
It's like, if he does know he's a ghost, then this makes sense. But if he doesn't know he's a ghost, why would he know he's a ghost? Why was he just standing there?
That's a good point.
Still fun for Spike and Gunn to have that moment, though.
Laura Wittmeyer says Season 7 lessons, Dawn. But he knew he doesn't know his strength. He might not know all those fancy martial arts skills they inevitably seem to pick up.
There you go, yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to take a bite of my sandwich.
They inevitably seem to pick up.
That's it.
It reminds me of the It Must Be Tuesday line about Dawn getting in trouble.
That's like one of the most like classic lines
Meta
from the
lines.
series. Yeah. Oh, this bit is so powerful.
If
I
that's
love the
if,
smoke from the gun when the way they shoot like Wesley
yeah,
doing it. It's all very
if that's a
very
And
good.
how he like
backdrop,
charges, and I like how he like charges forward. He's so like,
Yeah.
no, I'm doing this. Like he's
It's not a
so like
it's
he's
not a
so
desperate
resolute
shoot.
about it.
Yeah. He's like,
Yeah,
you're giving me this choice. I've made my choice.
yeah, like it has conviction.
if that's
I
a
guess.
Which is the
backdrop,
name of episode 1.
it is a spectacular
Oh.
backdrop.
Yeah, you realize
That-
Ian, if your coverage of season 5 isn't 10 hours for each episode, I'm going to be disappointed.
Yeah, how dare you?
Well, the big one is going to be Restless. That's the next hump to get over.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to that.
It's funny, a friend of mine was saying that their favorite hero is Punisher, and they're looking forward to him being more mainstream if the MCU picks it up in the movies rather than just the TV shows. And I was saying, like, they were explaining that they like a hero that will kill to get rid of the worst of the world, sort of thing. And I was like, there's that interesting thing in Conviction, the first episode of Angel season 5, where it opens with the kids talking about reading Punisher as a comic book. And if you remember, the episode ends with Angel shooting the head off the guy. And if you remember, he says, "There's nothing more powerful than conviction." And then he says, "Sorry, is it not conviction?" Or he says, "Yeah, no, it's about the idea that they believe in evil." I think he says,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Angel says, "There's one thing more powerful than conviction is mercy." And then he kicks the shotgun into his head and blows it off.
Oh
And the guy's
yeah,
like, what happened to mercy? And he's like, "You just
That-
saw the last of it."
yeah, that bit. That's wow. That takes
It's
you aback.
Angel being Punisher for a moment there.
Oh my god, so powerful.
And there's a lot of moments like that in this season of choices that are like, ooh, was that the
Mm.
right thing to do?
Yeah, it's very morally grey.
I had a friend who was really disturbed by the fact that they put Pavane in that jail cell where he's just going to stay forward for the rest of his existence. They said, like, that's a fate worse than death easily. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Not to mention the werewolf guy, who they basically just feed to an organization that want to eat
Oh
werewolves.
yeah,
There's lots of them.
yeah.
Like, if I ever make a video on Angel, I'll probably talk about all this shit, because season 5 is just so damn good.
Hey, they kind of look like you remember those demons that Fred has to solve a puzzle for? They have like the silver plates on their faces.
And see, interesting here that Wesley almost values his own life less than his dad's,
Oh, he definitely, yeah.
but he does not value his dad's life over Fred's.
I can understand that.
I
It's
request a
great as
moment
a
of silence.
Yeah.
Yep.
So blunt.
You know what that scene reminds me of? It reminds me of the scene where Wesley is in the hospital after having his throat cut, and Angel jumps him.
Oh, you're a dead man. Oh my god.
Yeah, talking about it hits and sort of lands in a similar fashion where you have an expectation of a standoff and what that's supposed to be, or a moment of reconciliation, and then they just hard cut away from that into this shocking moment of violence.
It just needs to be set up that we can believe it, and then you're golden.
It's so
And he says
good.
something like, he's like, you know I'm not evil, right? And then he's like, and he's like,
this is not Angelus talking. This is me.
Yeah.
I need you to know.
And then he tries to smother him.
Yeah.
It's so that bit really took me aback. Like, wow. Because
one of my friends was concerned with that scene. Well. They said that they would have loved it if not for the fact that the show is telling us that Angel is rage-worthy mad, and he will murder Wesley no matter like what, and he just chooses not to actually kill him. He just tries to smother him.
I'm drinking for I love that scene, daddy issues, Wes smart talk, and me sad.
All of it.
But yeah, the idea that if Angel wanted to kill Wesley, he would have just broken his neck. But he
Well,
chooses
yeah, and doesn't somebody manages to hold him back too, which is a bit odd because he's got.
Oh well, there's a
Van
couple of
Wesley.
doctors that come in. There's a couple of them.
Sonny Masterson says it was completely out of a character for Angel. I'm assuming to do that in that scene. I don't know. They've
he
shown
loved
that
his
Not
son.
at that point. Not at that point.
they've,
I don't
they've
think.
shown that
His son had been sent to a fate worse than death. He
Right.
despises Angel Wesley at that point.
and they've shown
Yeah.
that Angelus's violence and that demon is there. And I mean, in season 2, he closes the door and lets Darla and Drew feast on a room full of lawyers. And Wesley,
Yeah.
Wesley
Unless
took
they
his
also
son.
think that's out of character.
Yeah.
I
I'm
thought that was.
sorry.
I think
I'll-
that's
I don't.
the-
Angel's very complicated as a character.
Yeah,
he
I
really
think
is.
that
Yeah.
that's the whole point of season 2, and that moment is foreshadowed in "Are You Now or Have You Ever Been," where he leaves the hotel and lets that demon feast on everyone there. It's
He's
the
not a full hero.
yeah, it's the idea that the soul doesn't make him heroic. It's choice.
No.
Yeah, because people with souls can do bad things.
Like genuinely, Spike is more is closer to Captain America than Angel is.
Yeah, yeah,
At least in Souled Spike, anyway.
yeah.
Because like,
Sonny
does Spike make a
Masterson-
morally grey or bad choice once he's got his soul back at all?
I don't think so. No, he almost goes back to being William, but
Yeah, he has like an
Just
almost
still-
perfect record.
yeah,
I mean, arguably the fight he gets into with Angel, the competitive bit for the cup
doesn't
of
kill him.
torment.
That's the important part.
He doesn't kill him, but he is certainly the instigator in that fight.
He's getting his closure after a lifetime of
The flashbacks that they show there.
yeah. As much
Yeah.
as you could be like, that's not the adult way to handle it, but like, yeah, but he didn't kill him when he could have.
yeah. Sonny Masterson
Oh.
says
This is a good scene. In
um,
fact.
Spike against Wood was a bad scene. I don't know if it was a better scene, but I love that scene.
I was sure it was him.
Silence.
God damn you, Joss Whedon. Oh,
There's no. How do you even respond to that when someone tells you they killed someone because they thought anything about you?
So coffee, tacos.
tacos.
You know what? It's like the episode choice was tough because I kind of like to throw in smile time just for that last moment where Fred gives Wesley the look when they do the spell.
Oh no.
That was a good look.
Impact calls us out for the rule. I love that scene, and me sad.
Ah,
I'm drinking.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was my fault. But that is a good scene with Spike and Wood. Really good scene. Oh, okay, Boris. Well, damn you, Drew Goddard.
Yeah, this is, by the way, Shells and Origin for Wesley now. It's just carnage. That was we've
Yeah.
had all the positives
It's
we could even
just-
get.
It's just absolute heartbreak from here on in.
And
I
he,
guess
but he
I'm
calls
fine.
his dad
This
and
is daddy
everything.
issues, yeah. All right.
Let me get shows.
It's so
Queued
great as well
up.
because it's season 2, is it, where he first calls his dad, and it's such a throwaway sort of scene.
Yeah,
Yeah, I barely remember it.
it's when he gets.
You could argue
the
its
job as
its only
leader of the
purpose is
group.
to set this up now.
Yeah, pretty
Well,
much.
that's
But
why
who knows if this was planned back then though?
Well, there are a couple of breadcrumbs about his dad issues. In fairness, not just the one, but
yeah, I
it's-
feel like his arc is very grounded and developed. The only
Well,
thing that never translated for me was the goofy physical humor from Buffy to this, but it ends in 5x5.
Well, yeah, and like Wes has one of the most transformative arcs out of any character. Like,
Is it that you don't like the goofiness?
Yeah, it's a
'Cause I
bit
mean, I was
of.
gonna say it's like it ties into him very, child to adult sort of thing for me.
But
I think
Go ahead.
I I appreciate the goofiness in retrospect when you see where the character goes. I think.
I think there's a difference between clumsiness of character and slapstick humor, and I think that's one of the things that we just watched in the Buffy movie was a lot of physical comedy just there for the sake of being funny, but not particularly realistic or grounded
Yeah.
within the way I think a person would be in that moment. And I'm all
I
for klutzy Wesley, but the physical Three Stooges style of Wesley, I never just. It always feels a
So
little.
you felt it was a
painful
bit forced.
Yeah, it feels a
I
little
can't
painful for me.
I can't think of an example, but I'm pretty sure there have been bits of early Wesley that made me laugh. I'm pretty sure.
I
Uh,
always liked in season 3 of Buffy when he's defending Cordelia from Evil Willow. Like he's so bad at it, but he's doing
Ah,
his best to do it. You know, like he
yeah,
even nearly slips, and then he gets out his cross, and he's like shaking, and he's
yeah,
just like, "Yeah, just go away."
yeah.
I think there are
But I
moments
mean,
that make me smile, but
yeah, but I agree that for the most part, it's not all that funny.
yeah, like he's there's playing the character as socially awkward, and there's playing him as a clown. And
Mm.
he was often a clown in Buffy in certain sequences, but definitely in the first few episodes he was in Angel. In
You could argue he's one-dimensional a bit in Buffy and Angel
Oh yeah,
is,
sure,
but
definitely.
that's a part of the pattern I think we're noticing now, which is actually like almost how they create characters, work from
um,
a template that's more obvious, and then create something out of them.
now next up we are
They just
doing
failed with Riley.
We're doing the
Shells.
wonderfully positive episode, Shells.
It's such a heartwarming thing to see someone destroyed. Jesus. All right, let's do it.
Mine is queued up. Mine does have a
Yeah.
previously on.
Oh, we got the same
Um.
one, haven't we? So
Yeah, 4357.
Yeah, I have a previously on as well.
it makes sense considering, like I said, it's
but
weird
I've
to watch this episode without Hole in the World.
All right,
but I've
so
got 4211, but it doesn't matter.
for the drinking rules, I am removing
Oh yeah.
Daddy Issues and West Talk Smart. We're leaving Super Chats, I Love That Scene, and Me Sad.
Yeah,
We
that
need,
That
sounds
makes
fine.
sense.
we need two
There'll be a
new
lot
rules.
of me sad in this one.
There will be a lot of Me Sad. Two new rules. Throw them out in chat if you like, or gentlemen, if you have any
Do we
ideas.
need? Because me sad is.
Me Sad is going to rule the roost, but something Illyria
So like
related.
Shell specific, you could have anytime Wesley shoots a gun or threatens somebody with a weapon. Let's say.
Oh, something to do with Illyria?
I'm just putting gun.
Because like I'm thinking of he
that-
points the gun, he knocks the doctor out. He points it at actually gun.
That's when you know that our creativity when it comes to drinking rules have reached bottom of the barrel.
Gun.
When we're like gun, something to do with Illyria is the actual rule. Come on, guys.
Illyria being badass. I don't know.
Well, let's say lost powers. So powers that she
It's
loses
more
later in
her.
there.
It's more her searching for her power and her army and stuff, right?
No, but when she gets downgraded in terms of powers later in the season, she loses her time adjustment powers.
I was just saying the use of powers she doesn't have later.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go lost powers,
Okay.
and we just have gun.
Gun. You have to drink
Sounds
when
good.
gun is on screen, as in.
Well, I wasn't gonna throw that out there, but I will
See, this
obey the
is funnily
sanctity
enough,
of the rules.
If you did like
See, I don't.
a gun set of episodes, Shells would be a one to throw in.
Yeah, actually. Well, a lot of them are in season 5, and some of them I don't want
See,
to watch.
I don't really mind because I'm drinking water. So
We know, Jack. you
said this
keep
already,
throwing that in our
Hey,
face.
hey, no, but honestly, I'd rather be kind of jolly and shall I say drunk. I was trying to be polite about it, by saying jolly.
All right, we're going to hit play in 3, 2, 1, play.
Beautiful.
Previously, yes.
Yeah, probably the saddest fucking previously.
I'm drinking for me
exists.
sad.
Oh yeah. You are my
Oh, there's-
sunshine.
I'm
my
gonna put a
only-
note somewhere. I've talked about this. Nobody has seen Hill House that's also seen Buffy, aside from you, Jax. There's a connection I want to
Okay.
talk to you about. I'm gonna make a note of it now.
Okay.
Ugh.
Fred's death breaks me every time, man.
It's horrible, and they made sure everybody cares. So
And like they also make a point of saying no, her soul was destroyed, so there's
oh
no
yeah,
coming back.
it's
Like
funny
the
because
most...
the Buffyverse has that problem where a lot of people come back to life.
Yeah,
Well,
but they really made sure like no, Fred is gone.
I'm not up on the actual. I haven't looked into it recently, but as I understand it, Amy Acker requested a more interesting character.
Oh, okay.
She sort of felt her character was grounded in, or sort of there at the whim of other people's stories.
I can understand.
And I would agree. I 100% agree with that.
That's
What episode does she have outside of the family one?
And that's Jess's problem with Fred too.
Yeah.
You know, like how you say you got a character-centric episode, so like Lineage is absolutely a Wesley episode.
Hang on one second.
Yeah, Fred doesn't really have any.
Everyone, we're watching season 5, episode 16, Shells.
Yeah. Just after Hole in the World.
You get a couple of Fred is ancillary to the other characters episodes, like Gunn doing his whole.
Pylea could kind of count.
The car that cost him his soul. It's like Fred is like in that episode doing things. Just like.
Caitlin says, "Thank God for my unemployment." I can appreciate that. Thank God for my self-employment.
But yeah, I do think Pylea could count as Fred-centric, kind of.
As Boris just pointed out, the episode, is it Shiny Happy People? That's kind of a Fred episode.
Oh, yeah.
She's on the run, she's alone.
Oh,
she's
yeah.
Driving the episode.
The Angel Invasion of the Body Snatchers arc.
Mm-hmm.
But I have heard, and I don't know if it's true, but apparently if the show wasn't cancelled, they were going to do a storyline where Fred and Illyria occupied the same body, and that makes sense because Wesley has that dream where Fred's like, "Don't you want to see how far down I go, or how deep I go, or something like that?"
Would it be some kind of like they're fighting to take control of the surface?
Something like that. I don't know specifically, but yeah, like
because the way I understood it was Fred was gone only.
Well,
in a way
yeah, that's what I thought too. And
like
so
Fred could
it
be
might not be
puppeted
true.
by Illyria.
The humans rule the earth.
I can't believe, like, Illyria would be one of my top examples of how to create such a fascinating and relatively well-balanced character in such a small amount of time.
Yeah, because she's really interesting, and I feel kind of weird saying this, but she's kind of hot.
You've said that before.
Oh, okay.
We're on board with it, I think.
Dieter says, yes, I do see a bit more liberal beard. The benefits of being self-employed. I read that several times before I realized it didn't say a bit more liberal beard. Because I was like, how is a beard liberal? Oh, you mean in that sense of the word. My beard is fairly politically centrist. But
I see a lot of right-leaning beard in there.
Now I understand.
Larissa
says... it's wise to not have a beard. You guys know about that? Like, it'll help with the women's vote if you don't have a beard.
Larissa says the Illyria and Fred stuff you mentioned is in the Angel and Faith comics. Okay, that's where I got it from then.
And that's true. Amy does get physical with the acting for Illyria too, which is awesome.
Oh yeah. But yeah, it's just hot. This one is lusting for me. I certainly am.
As a matter of policy, I've always tried to be an equal opportunity objectifier when it comes to the actors on both of these shows. I think Stupid Sexy Spike was the seminal original thing. So I say without shame.
Stupid Sexy Illyria?
I agree with you. Stupid Sexy Illyria.
Amen to that.
Yeah, I like the dialogue here as well, where he's like, it's a play on perspective, and Angel's like, no, that's not what I'm talking about.
I'm working on the Primeval script as well, and just understand. People have gotten grumpy with me for the Riley chest arrows that sort of popped up this season, which Spike has his shirt off all the time.
See, I don't get that because it's clearly a joke. Like, why get upset about a
question?
joke?
What would happen if you commented on how a female's breasts were overly big with arrows or something like that? Maybe some people are lining it up.
Like Booby Willow in
Yeah, like you kept pointing the arrows to Doppelganger, like, look at those.
Is commenting on Riley's hairless chest the same as pointing out large breasts?
That's the thing. Maybe they see it that way,
or rather, objecting to Riley's hairless chest.
Also,
I don't know, man. That's a weird conversation.
It is a weird conversation.
I think if you swapped Spike out for Riley, you would get a hell of a lot more hate.
Oh, I'm gonna have to demand silence in about a minute.
Oh, this is and then you.
Not yet. You're right.
Oh yeah, this scene.
Oh, it's later on down.
A little bit later. This whole scene is great from Alexis Denisov. He's fantastic. It's great that they got him to play this character because you needed a good actor to get all this shit done.
But even Woodward is great in this.
Yeah, no, he makes me hate him. He makes me hate him in this scene.
But he's like, you can see that he's like fanatical about Illyria. It's almost cult-like.
Yeah, he's lost it. He's completely into it.
Ahmed says, I resent the lack of representation for hairy men as a Yeti myself.
Me too, brother. Me too.
I don't know if we should call silence. I think we're close.
We're there.
Yeah.
Drinking.
I agree. Fred was amazing. Uh-huh. Oh. Oh, that's got to be method. It's got to be.
Here we go.
Now I'm just sad.
That moment of realization.
And his little moment there, this is part of what makes developing so important, that he says all that and my mind immediately goes to the scene where she's dying. Like, I'm inside his head, you know?
Epic's
we got a super chat.
Yeah, $5 donation. I was just wondering, where did the Watchers Council go wrong, and what role, if any, would they play in the future past Buffy's last season? The question is, was the Watchers Council ever in the right?
No.
And I think that the episode where it gets into the formation of the Slayer power originally, and the original Watchers suggest that it was a manipulation and a violation to create the Slayer in the first place. And we associate Giles certainly with the Watchers Council, but Giles quits the Watchers Council because there's something rotten at the core.
And they accuse him of basically like losing his shit. Like the way he operates, they're like, that's not how you're supposed to operate. I don't think we saw
his having a father's love for the Slayer.
Yeah, he's supposed to be very matter of fact about it and clinical.
And just, I wish they did more with the council, but from what we can tell, they control it, and if the person is uncontrollable, they write them off.
One thing I wanted to highlight was in the previous episode, I feel like Angel commends Wesley for what is actually Wesley's tragic flaw. And he says, you do what you have to do to protect the people. You're the one who makes the hard decisions. And I kind of don't think the show commends that perspective of his character.
I think this season does.
That's interesting.
It's the thing that regularly gets him into trouble.
That's true, but there's still hard decisions and choices. This is the thing: is Wesley strictly wrong? The only thing that I felt that he was wrong about in season 3 was maybe not telling Fred. But the idea is, the second he tells anybody, they will know and they can stop him.
Yeah.
So the idea is
look,
like he cannot tell anybody. He has to make this decision because he can't trust anybody else with the knowledge.
and
so
like he truly believed Angel was going to kill his son. So yeah.
yeah, and then you got Holtz feeding him into it as well.
Although I still think the giant burger should have known that it was a lie,
The
because
giant
the
burger
giant
was a
burger.
setup, though, right?
I don't think so. Yeah, I thought it was some
Yeah,
like
that was
spirit
Sarjan's work.
thing.
Like the
Oh,
burger
was
would have
it?
been well, Sarjan set all this up, not just the. I mean,
Yeah,
he does
but
say he scribbled thing. If anything, then the burger would have just. I can't believe we're saying this.
that's not explicitly said though, is it? I don't
Oh, and
think it is.
she's wearing the dress she died in.
I assume anything tied to pushing Wesley to that goal would have been set up by Sarjan.
Okay.
But
So-
if not, if anything, the burger believed the prophecy as much as Wesley did.
But the burger was supposed to be like this all-seeing eye, I guess.
I don't know if he's. I don't know if they introduce him beyond just he's like a seer.
It's been a
You
while
know,
Yeah,
a
since
seer can be wrong.
It's been a while since I've watched the burger episode, so it's hard to comment one way or another.
It's so ridiculous.
I love it.
To return to the point, though, Angel is like, I get it now. What it is you're actually doing, because Angel just looks at it as selfish decisions instead of Wesley deciding what is the right thing to do, and I'm the only one who can make this decision. Because by people knowing it, it'll make it impossible to make the right decision. Like if Angel tells everybody about his final plan with the Black Thorn, they very much may have advised against it, so and potentially stopped him or let leaks get out. So it's the same idea.
Oh, I mean, I'm calm.
The boss said he'd make it all bright inside, like Christmas. So I have learned to ask before I do this, but there's something about Illyria that in the first couple of episodes that kind of I find very distracting. And if
Meaning?
I point it out, it's one of those things that you may never unsee.
Oh, go for it. It's fine.
Yeah, go on.
You okay, Jack?
Yeah, I'm okay.
No,
I'm
I got
okay.
momentarily distracted by.
I'm bracing myself.
No, I'll wait.
Oh, okay. Well, it's going to be
now
pretty
I'm
hard for you to
interested.
ruin Illyria for me and Jack, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but no, there's
yeah.
no. I don't think it'll ruin. I'm just saying, like, there's an element to her makeup that I find sort of permanently distracting in all of the close-ups.
Is that the blue stains on a scalp?
No,
Oh, okay. Because for some reason my eyes are always
You
drawn
need to
to
tell
that.
us so we can see it.
so the way that
Yeah,
the way that
just-
contact lenses are painted,
They do look fake.
the pupils, unless the contact is actually sitting perfectly on her eye, the pupils are often sort of pointing in different directions, slightly down
what you mean.
on one eye or slightly up.
Oh.
And every close up of her, it just it's like you're looking at the contacts. It doesn't.
So does it get better later on, or?
Well,
I feel like I notice
assuming
it less, but I noticed it quite a bit in her first couple of episodes.
I've never noticed that myself.
they're probably slightly off center or something.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is sometimes like the piece of glass floating on her eye is going to move around slightly.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh, this bit's cool.
I'm going to count that as I love, and I will drink for that.
I didn't.
Jack, you
I
son of a
specifically
biscuit.
made sure I said I didn't love it. I just said it's cool. But yeah, I'll drink too.
I could
My
feel you're
water.
avoiding the rule.
Yeah, her contacts are pretty good
Avoid it.
there, but obviously I'd have to look at every scene.
Deliberate avoidance of the rule is a drink.
Not saying anything? Oh, you better believe that's a drink.
I like that he's like, we've brought guns and it's enough to temporarily incapacitate you.
Yeah.
I was always like, how do you know that?
Yeah, she just doesn't give a shit, but Angel's so sure
Well,
of himself.
Well, Wesley's sure of himself, and I'm like, where did you get this from? Why would you think the guns would work on her?
I think Wesley's just so heartbroken. He wants to get Fred back.
Eric Johnson
So he doesn't
says
care.
that may have made her seem more alien and bizarre. Yeah, that definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be distracted by it. I'm not pointing it out as a genuine criticism. I'm just like, It just,
I don't think
it's one of those
it's-
things.
Oh, this is Ian. This is another example of what you were just talking about. The whole they're setting up some kind of like showdown. Then she just throws him, and he ends up out the building.
Yeah, I mean, this is the show is really good at that.
Mm.
By the way,
That
these
wrecks
are
Angel for the
these
whole
are
episode.
lost-
I'm pretty sure.
These are lost powers.
Yeah.
When they sap her power to downgrade her, she loses that ability.
I
I have
honestly
to be honest. I've been
feel.
drinking a lot in between the drinks.
Nothing wrong with that.
I honestly feel Harmony's kind of pointless. Like, I'm just like, why are you there? I don't know. She's funny.
I think it's great. They make use of they flip her whole point, which is she constantly betrays people.
Okay, yeah. I
She
mean,
betrays,
like, I
she
don't.
betrays Spike even like.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that she shouldn't have been in it, but I don't know. It's just.
I think the idea
Although-
is like, would you rather a brand new secretary character who gets very little of a season to even get
Well,
development,
then,
or
no,
a
I guess
character that
not.
they have history with and can bounce off without
Right.
any development?
A TV Vincent.
Although
Go ahead.
I do love the line where Spike rocks up and she's just like Blondie Bear.
Yeah,
A TV Vincent
that's
asks,
why it works. He got so much history.
says I've started
rocks
doing
up, he comes out of the amulet. Sorry.
no, it's okay. He says I've started doing an episode by episode Buffy reviews. Do you have any advice? People have been asking for a behind the scenes video for a little while, and I said I would do one with Restless. And I've decided that for me, Restless is going to be a bit of an overhead view of how I got started doing this, what I did when I got started, and what I think is best practices for people who do this. So I'll save that. That's a deep, kind of longer question. And I do have a list. I've written articles before to people about how to get started doing this and what I think are best practices. And you know, I'm even planning on covering hardware and the low end version of things and so forth. So
Cool.
that'll be end of December, early January. I'm saving Restless as the last episode guide this season. So it's going to be 2 Angel episodes in a row after Primeval, so that I can spend a little more time doing the behind the scenes, and then a spoiler version of Restless and a non-spoiler version. So it's going to be a lot
Yeah,
of
I
work.
was just about to mention that.
Universally important for script writing of any kind for video creation. Redraft.
Yeah, edit.
Yeah.
I don't do enough editing, frankly. The writing is one of the biggest struggles for me personally. And a lot of the good ideas that people love, like the Wesley bit in Bad Girls and some of those things, come out in the edit. But
Yeah, because
I should spend more time in writing rather than in the video editing aspect of it.
yeah, like make sure you have a very solid script, because even if your editing is flawless, you're basically gonna have a shiny, nice car with no engine.
Yeah,
The script is like the heart of your project.
There's a lot of video critics and creators that are kind of in vogue right now that I think are wonderful editors and wonderful technical creators. But then when you sort of get at the root of their script and start thinking about each of their ideas, you kind of go, yeah, but
Yeah,
and that's the script.
Cal, it's like that video we watched on Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, nice editing, good humor, but no real
Yeah,
substance.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and I think me and Ian have talked about this. Like the idea of hiring an editor is a common thing a lot of creators will think about, but hiring
I
a
don't
writer,
like that.
you don't hire a writer. That's weird. But there are some people on the internet that could use hiring a writer.
Quinn Sinclair
See,
says, now really struggle with it, Ian? I'm not sure what you're referring to, buddy.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Did I miss something?
I don't get it.
Jack, what did I miss?
You said struggling with the writing, right? Is that what you said, or didn't I mishear that?
Maybe. I still don't get it. Sorry. I've had wine.
You
me and
strugg-
Ian are unreliable narrators
Yeah,
right now.
we've had wine and whiskey.
You struggle with script writing.
Oh, yeah. Well, things are getting better. Going
Yeah.
full time has forced me to confront some of my writing issues. There was a 3-week drought, and now I feel very on track. So, but being full time is completely different.
I thought that's what the comment was. I know I probably
Oh yeah,
misheard.
maybe he was saying that I'm really struggling with the writing aspect of it. That could be.
Oh, okay.
In which case, ow.
But yeah, Nox leaving his phone.
Melissa says, I feel that way about Screen Rant. High quality, good execution, very poor and boring ideas. A lot of the top 10 sites are kind of like that, where there's less depth to the ideas, but they are technically incredibly proficient.
My mind immediately goes to Watch Mojo.
Like
Well, I mean, Watch Mojo is the classic
even
example.
Watch Mojo have better editing than I do, but I've always felt that like within my field, I'm doing the best I can because I just don't know how to do better editing.
One of
But you
the
got the writing.
one of the I mean, to me, the Screen Rant that the people who are doing a very similar thing to Screen Rant, but I love their content, is Cinefix, Cinefix. They do.
I know Cinefix.
They do top 5 scenes. They do top 10s, but they are extremely thoughtful and educated and talk about how the shots are executed and cut and so forth. And I love their stuff.
Notice
But yeah,
wearing a wristwatch in this scene, signifying his time is running out.
Oh, Quinn had a deep cut. It's the phrase you use to refer to Sid the dummy. Now really struggle with it, Sarah. Struggle. Now throw him against the wall. That's a deep cut. I know exactly what you're talking about now. Thank you. Sorry I missed that.
It's but yeah, good like list channels are very rare. Like very, very rare.
Yeah, list channels because the fact that they've done it so many times means they've probably got a formula. Means there's not much heart left.
It's built on
like,
churn.
There are some, or one of my favorite channels is Top 5s. He's a British guy, but his stuff is so well researched, and it's not like over the top. Because a lot of list channels tend to really exaggerate, but he just doesn't.
Watch Mojo
this is a terrific.
Oh yeah,
bringing things back slightly.
Oh yeah,
this is a terrific scene. It's a very important moment for Gunn, and I kind of love the Doctor's performance. There's nothing left to bring back. He says, like, aboard Doctor. Do you have something to say to me, Charles?
You paraphrased it. You fucked it up, Ian.
I don't give a crap. If I get a quote wrong,
I still remember the tension of this moment when I first saw it. I was like, "Oh my god, is he gonna kill him?"
Wesley shot his dad. You think he's not gonna shoot Gunn?
Yeah, I think
he'll kill everybody on Earth to get Fred back.
Yeah,
I think this scene here is where Wes truly goes like zero fucks given. He just doesn't care anymore. He's lost the most important thing in the world to him.
What's the first thing he says to Angel? He'll probably live.
Yeah.
This is an incredibly.
Wait, you've been listening?
This is an incredibly important moment in Gunn's arc.
Yeah. Brutal, man. Brutal.
I mean, if you're taking sort of the acculturation perspective, I couldn't go back. I didn't think it would be one of us. So he did think.
He's a lawyer. He knows contracts. That's the very important part to this. He knew he was buying someone else's pain with using someone else's pain to buy his intellect.
Right.
Yeah, that's really important. If you'd spoken up faster, they'd find more information quicker. Wesley making sure his reasoning is solid before stabbing it.
Thomas Nash says Wesley is like Angel from season 3 here. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I avoided the major organs.
He'll probably live.
See, zero fucks given, man.
Yeah, so one of the things that got me to watch Buffy in the first place was Avengers, and Avengers is loaded with those moments that we're talking about,
really?
where things turn on a dime in an unexpected way. Yeah, perfect example. Loki's
yelling.
Was it because Loki's
was
yelling?
Like Joss Whedon?
Yeah, Loki's yelling at
Yeah.
Hulk, and I am a god. And Hulk, in the middle of his speech,
And then he
grabs
just-
him by the legs and whips him around the floor like a
One
tiny.
of the best
Yeah.
moments of the
And that-
MCU.
that-
I love that scene
That
so
is a
much.
wonderful example of subverting our expectations in the middle of a scene for how things are going to go. But it still feels like, oh yeah, he's the Incredible Hulk. Of course
I mean,
he did that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you guys know, but British cinemas, like, you stay quiet compared to American ones, at least typically. But that scene when we watched Avengers with a packed cinema, everyone just fucking howling.
Yeah. There's a ton of cheer moments in Avengers.
By the way, me saying I love that scene doesn't count because I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about Avengers.
I believe it says "I love scene/character."
I feel like my audio with you guys is getting a little broken up. I'm not running anything, so I apologize if that's affecting the stream.
No, like you're popping a little bit here and there, but it's not bad.
Also, they just pointed out that Spike tortured not Jonathan Woodward, the doctor.
By the way, just because you made me think about it, Ian, when he says, listen closely, and then he gets hit by Iron Man off screen, then Loki just goes, I'm listening.
I'm listening.
Avengers is awesome. It's just that it's gotten overshadowed because it's so, I don't know, almost like it's like the base plate for the Avengers, the MCU even.
Exactly.
It
Yeah,
doesn't-
because there's been so many great films since then.
It doesn't have the drama, the pathos of the later iterations. I mean, Civil War has,
Which is
one
interesting
and-
because it's Joss Whedon.
And to go back to when the characters didn't know each other, it's almost weird now.
yeah.
Although you do have that bit at the end with the Hulk and Natasha.
I
That's
love,
a bit fuzzy.
The scene, it's very Joss Whedon as well, the scene where they all break down just before they're attacked in the helicarrier and they all just rip into each other's characters. Like,
Yeah,
especially
that's very
Cap
Joss.
versus Iron Man is just fantastic. The whole, you wouldn't lay on the wire and you said cut it. It's such a that's them two right there.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Quinn Sinclair asks, is Illyria a giant bug? Well, it may be an original demon form.
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
But, she looks good right now.
The old
Let's
ones.
just leave it at she looks good.
The old ones were the original demons.
Which they could totally make a TV show about, but we're not treating Buffy the same way as they treated Game of Thrones, where they had like 5 possible TV shows to spin off.
It does make you wonder how Whedon's HBO show is going to go. I mean,
I have a feeling we'll get the same thing with Disenchanted. With Matt Groening, they were like, "Oh, the guy who made Simpsons and Futurama's making a new one," and then everyone was like, "Oh, it was just meh."
yeah, but unlimited budget,
I wanted to take his time. I just
12
wanted to take his time.
episodes.
Make
So
another
that's the thing.
Buffy.
I just always have so much faith in that man. Like I just always do because
It's
he's
not like
never
he hasn't
really
made
let
bad
me down.
things.
Oh, like
Okay, flawed things.
okay, yeah, that's a better way. Yeah,
It's not got a perfect track record, but then again, who does have a perfect track record?
I need to watch Dollhouse again. I just remember sort of, it was okay the first time I went through it, but I have friends who
I liked
love
it.
that
I just
show.
only liked it.
I still haven't seen it.
It's neat. It's just the problem of you watch Buffy and Angel and then you're chasing Buffy and Angel through his other shows. You're like, give me more.
But you're never gonna get it. It's like chasing the dragon, man. You never catch it.
This is again another great moment for Gunn.
Yeah. Weird that Harmony is the one. You tried to eat Cordelia.
But yeah, that is interesting, by the way, that he says, like, no one could stomach giving this to me. It's like, yeah, Harmony is the one that's with him. Because what he's done is so reprehensible.
Really, I don't know that Gunn ever had... I mean, one of the common components to most of the characters in the core is that they have a moment they need to be redeemed for. At least in season 1. Doyle says we all have
Right.
things to atone for, which is hinting that he's done something wrong. Cordy believes that she needs to be redeemed for the way she was in high school.
Right.
Angels are relatively self-evident.
Yeah.
Gunn
And jealous.
Gunn never had.
Gunn was clean up until this point.
Until this moment.
Yeah, pretty
Which
much. Yeah.
I think that's a good thing to have a different dynamic.
I love this.
The element of
Were
redemption.
you even listening?
Fred
I
was
love that line.
Fred was the one that was perhaps the cleanest, and then I forgot. When Gunn kills her professor and throws him in the hole.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Which
By the
always
way-
pissed me off because it steals the climax from Fred of either making a choice or not.
Right. And that also leads to their breakup.
By the way, I can't remember which friend it was, but a friend I watched this with, they said, "How is Wesley not shooting Knox right now?" And I was like,
That's great.
Yeah, I don't know. Man, it seems like they really missed an opportunity with this scene. Jeez.
I'd say they should have Wesley shoot Knox here. Like,
Yeah.
maybe really close to now. Maybe like 5 seconds from now.
Yeah. But I still love Angels. Were you even listening? I think that's great.
I'm kidding. I'm trying to imply that you would,
okay. I thought you
this
were being
time
serious.
you wouldn't be aware that he's about to do it.
Okay, I get you now. It's the dollar shot again.
No. It's such like, oh. It's just funny as well coming from Angel, because he's probably like, yeah, I break my own rules regularly. So
Dieter-
anyway, let's move on.
Dieter says Gunn killed his sister, and I'm not sure he forgave himself. That's fair. I think.
Yeah, but she was a demon. It wasn't really. his
He didn't
sister.
protect her, you could say, would be his...
Some people.
Yeah.
Some people actually say that Angel didn't have a soul, and so the whole redemption arc makes no sense because when he was Angelus, he wasn't the same character.
Yeah.
And that undermines the
Well,
entire drive of
It's
the
a little
show.
bit more complicated than that.
I treat them as two different characters.
Yeah, so do I, but it doesn't mean that it's...
I can understand Angel's guilt because he still has the memories, and more so than that, he still has the memories of enjoying what he did.
There is
and he's horrified
also
by it.
the argument that it is your character without inhibitions.
Right, yeah.
As if there are things you can feel those actions as being things you may have committed to.
Yeah, that's right. And Angel does show moments of him having to restrain himself from, like
And he
biting
does
humans or whatever.
certainly do things that are downright awful
Yeah.
when he's Angel. So yeah, they
And
never
don't they
try
even-
this again. By the way, this little gem.
It's
this is
interesting
forgotten after this.
when they use slow motion in this, they don't use a high frame rate camera.
Hmm.
The slow mo just looks kind of bizarre because it's one frame at a time.
Yeah,
I guess they didn't have the budget.
yeah. This gem disappears after the scene. You'd think that'd be pretty useful, especially when they were trying to kill her in Time Bomb.
By the way, Melissa, I'm not making that argument as to whether or not Angel needs redemption. I think the scene in Civil War where Bucky talks about the things that he's done, for me, kind of
Informs Angel entirely.
informs Angel. And
He
made
doesn't remember.
the
I don't
things-
care.
the themes of Angel Concrete. No, they're flying in Civil War, and Cap says, "Those things you did, it wasn't you." And Bucky says, "I know, but I did them." And that
Yeah.
emotionally, for me, made me kind of concretely understand Angel's
Well, that
dilemma
does-
and desire for redemption.
Kind of tie
Yeah.
into what Melissa said. It is like you could be like, Bucky, why do you feel responsible? Because you didn't. You're not guilty of it, the brainwashed crimes. And you'd be like, yeah, but it kind of feels that way though.
Yeah, but he did them.
Yeah.
He was still
Yeah, and
there. He was still that body. He was still
he's-
that mind.
Yeah, he's still got all the memories.
And if you
of it.
remember Holtz, I think having a conversation with Wesley in season 3, Wesley's like, he's no more responsible for the crimes of Angelus than I am. That's what Wesley says. I've always found that interesting as
Yeah.
the separation Wesley draws.
I love Holtz, by the way. That character, the way it was written, and the casting, just brilliant.
I like
I
that
love
Holtz is not principled, that he's
Right.
clearly invested in revenge, but he'll hide it
Yeah.
under principles.
Yeah.
Like,
And the bit with his daughter is harrowing.
oh yeah, that's rough.
Mm.
Momentary call for silence. Oh, I think I'm thinking of the scene at the end of A Hole in the World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
it might
you
be
are.
the end of this episode. You talking about when he meets up with Illyria?
No, I don't really like you, but this is important.
No,
Spike
I think
talking
that is
to him.
this.
Is that a Dixie Chicks poster? Oh, it's Fred's room. That would make sense.
What are you talking about?
Oh, there was a poster of the Dixie Chicks on the wall. It's a band, country band,
But
right there.
oh,
Here
I'm
it is.
seeing
Here
Spike
it
right
is.
now.
I'm seeing Wes and Illyria. Are we
Yeah.
out of sync? Are we?
We're out of sync. Pause.
How did that happen? I have the same episode.
I don't know. I'm at 3601.
I'm at 3603, but I'm watching Spike and Angel talk.
Yeah, same.
What? Okay. Well, I guess I don't know how. Oh, you guys ended up with the same file. I didn't.
Yeah.
If you go, just cycle back to Angel and Spike talking. Should be near us.
Okay. Yep. Angel's sitting down. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Should we just go from there? It's pretty hard to figure out exactly because we'd have to get dialogue and.
I'm now looking
Well,
at Wes putting his cup in. I didn't pause.
Oh,
Okay.
There's the Dixie Chicks poster.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna press play then.
yeah, just
We'll check
Yeah.
file lengths for the next one.
We're almost done anyway with this episode.
this is definitely one of those we just want to watch the ending moments.
Yeah. It's fine. We're not actually streaming the audio into the...
Yeah, sorry, chat, if you're confused.
Yeah, the three of us got out
Yeah.
of sync. They're watching my version.
Sorry about
though.
that.
Very nihilistic. It's very data line. Ah. Sorry for the silence, guys. It's just hard to talk through this kind of thing.
I love that comment where she says, "And that made it just." It's like Wesley having his morality reflected on him.
Yeah, and that moment of self-realization, which has not occurred
Like it's
on
not,
my
it's
screen
not
yet.
just. Just you can't say anything.
I'm probably the last person to teach you about what's right.
Oh, please, Wesley, why can't I stay? That was awful.
Wesley. Yeah, and that made a just happen on my screen. His delivery of yes.
Yes, it's It's heartbreaking.
is everything in this sequence.
It's a complete admission that he's not doing it for any other reason.
Because I look like her. Not a stitch of music.
Might be manipulative at this point, isn't it? Or maybe I should say it's not needed to put the audience into the
No, I think
tone.
it's so much better without it.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it could come across as tacky to put music on this as well.
Yeah, the lack of music, I think, is actually a character in this scene. Because it makes it so stark.
Yeah, it's confronting. And the performances are great.
It's tragic how this closes out as well, with the song and watching Fred prepare to go to LA.
Yeah.
Oh, don't remind me of that. Oh.
It's like her life was so... She's beginning her LA life, and look how we just saw how it ended.
I forgot about that.
I love the A Hole in the World and Shells two-parter. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It is. It's gut-wrenching.
Where one is sort of like the sharp blade tearing your insides apart, this one is like stark and just...
And the episode of There's Nothing You Can Do About That Blade.
It's done. And there's hope, there's love. You may find something worthy. Is that enough?
And there's almost a bit of acceptance too, in a way.
Wesley finds Mr. Fingerbob.
The cut back in time. Brutal.
She's like smiling as well. It's like, no, Fred, don't go to LA.
Oh, it's so good.
I think I'm gonna cry. I'm not even kidding. I want to cry.
Called home. I think I've actually been there. Weird.
And that's Shells.
Wow.
I've still got a couple of seconds left on it.
All right.
Oh.
Aww.
I'm reading chat. No, I forgot about the ending. Vegan bomb.
Yeah.
The only good parents in Buffy or Angel.
We don't like Joyce now? To that level?
Well,
I still think the choices she made as a parent are debatable in terms of how good they were.
Yeah.
My heart hurts.
Is that yeah, we have to drink. Me sad.
All right, I'm done. I'm done. I just want to crawl into bed and cry now. That poor girl. That poor girl. I know she isn't real, but that poor girl.
And the last episode we are watching tonight is Season 5, Episode 18.
Origin. We could totally start up because we'll be talking over a lot of it because a lot of it is Angel and Connor, which we're not really interested in.
Are we gonna get out of sync again? Probably.
I'm at 42:27 is my file length.
Let me check. Mine is 40:44.
Yeah, you're missing 2 minutes.
That could be. Is there a previously on?
Is there a way for you to get the episode in a reasonable amount of time?
You have access to the ones I use for editing, Jack. That's the one I'm pulling from.
Oh yeah, okay. I should be able to. Oh no, wait. You revoked my access to all of that. I think, didn't you?
No, I shared it with you again. after the fact.
I can't see any of it.
Hold on. Sorry, everyone. Just 1 second.
No, I don't. I don't have access to it.
Oh, my Dropbox is paused. Un momento, everyone. Just a second.
Also, I don't want the whole thing syncing up.
Yeah, don't. Over in
Yeah.
Discord. There you go.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, just 1 sec, everyone. Let me backtrack and see if we missed any questions. Country music, the music of pain. Yes, indeed. Is that a Dixie Chicks song? I may be American, but I don't know.
It's episode 18, right?
Yes.
Yep. Cool.
Yeah, the context. Quinn says, "Oh, the contexts are off center. Why did you point that out?"
Whoa.
Sorry about that.
It's
You're-
saying 5 minutes.
Okay.
Is that going to be
Do it.
too long?
I'm sure we can survive 5 minutes. But yeah, so the idea being, because that's what this episode is Wesley's like so consumed by getting Fred back, he unintentionally unlocks all of the pain that Angel hid away from him in the first place.
Yeah.
And so you've got the same
Oh, yeah,
operation
this
that happened
one.
with Connor is happening with Wesley. As in, he's two characters in one by the end of this episode, technically speaking.
Sorry, just a second.
Am I lagging?
No, I was.
Yeah.
I had to unpause Dropbox for a moment, and it started to upload some of the files I've edited in the last week. And
Also, because I'm downloading, I could be
it is
lagging a little
it
bit.
is now paused.
I'm like the only normal one.
You're not normal.
Is there a TPN Discord server? There is indeed.
There certainly is.
Hold on just a minute. Invite people.
I should leave Twitter alone. There's another YouTuber who's apparently described my channel as someone who criticizes good things and loves trash. I'm just like,
What?
well, too bad, because I like Buffy, which means you two are now lovers of trash as well.
But you don't really. What?
Doesn't have to make sense, Jack. It's okay.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna stop trying to make sense of it.
Boris
'cause,
asks,
yeah.
when are you planning to release the news video to get people's suggestions for why you should watch Firefly? Probably. I always do a news video at the end of every Buffy season, so it'll be right around then.
I love how whenever you cut out for me, it's the most important word of the sentence.
Yeah, I'm getting that too.
You like, I'm going to do it every, so that should
And
work out just fine.
And it's like having to sort of fill in the blanks.
Well, I am the one running OBS and trying to talk to you guys, so.
Well, I mean,
I
it's
think-
clearly a lag or
Yeah.
or sensitivity thing. I don't blame you. It's okay.
I think I've got the most powerful computer here. I'm
No.
not sure. Actually, mine's more powerful than yours, Ian.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Mine's
but-
Wally. Mine's a little trash robot that I put together
But-
with glue
Cal,
and
you
paper clips.
you just built a brand new shiny one though, right?
I did. A friend helped me with it. Very good. It's staying put with the insane size of my new project. It's managing to keep Vegas from crashing for at least 2 hours at a time. So that's neat.
That's pretty good.
I just
Though-
I'm
really...
down to 2 minutes, so it shouldn't be too much longer.
All
One
right,
gig
ETA
left.
2 minutes, everyone. Sorry for the break.
Sorry, guys.
But yeah, I can't even render the full episodes out of my my Vegas timeline anymore. It only lasts like an hour before the thing will freeze, so I have to take them up in chunks and then put them into a new project to render them, like to stitch them together.
Boris has a question
Have you
for
got a? Oh.
Hmm?
Oh yeah, Captain Marvel trailer.
Oh, I mean, meh was my response to that trailer. I was like, oh, okay. A lot of people are excited, but then again, I don't know if ever you'd be excited for any MCU film. Like typically, the MCU fans are very much like, "Yay, more MCU content." But she, no offense to the actress, but when she was delivering her lines in the trailer, she seemed very deadpan. Like, I'm going to do this
It's
because this is what
Brie
I do.
Larson, isn't it, or something like
Yeah,
that?
and I was just like, man, she just doesn't sound into this. And I don't know if it's maybe I'd need to see the film to be able to make a judgment on that one. But yeah, the idea of like a super powerful person who you find out their history was they used to be on Earth and then they went away and then they came back. To me, I'm just like, okay. I'm a vocal like meh person towards Superman, and she seems to be the female Superman.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the thing about the
I
character.
really, I've been watching the beginning of Daredevil, right, the TV show. I've only seen 2 episodes, but I'm planning on getting through it.
It's
And
pretty good.
I love how limited he is. He is a guy, and he has senses that make him pretty good, but he has trouble when he's battling even like a handful of thugs, and
Yeah.
that makes him very interesting to me.
All right, I got it.
All right, everyone ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
hang
anything
on, I'm just
DC that
queuing
looks
it up.
halfway passable is exciting considering their recent track record. Well, you're talking about Aquaman, which is getting really good reviews. So yeah, that one's interesting. Marvel is still MCU.
All
Vocally,
right,
meh.
I'm ready to go.
All right, and we're gonna go in. Again, our file length is 4227. 3,
Yep.
2, 1, play.
Oh yeah, so we've sort of
Oh.
skipped over Wesley losing his mind over the next few episodes.
Yeah, sort of.
Oh, this
He's
looks
just-
so pretty compared to what I was just watching.
Yeah, these are the HD versions.
Yeah, really nice.
Yeah, Wesley's like disheveled.
I believe I bought these off Amazon.
Okay.
Oh no, we're thinking about the petri dish she just put into her mouth.
Yeah, because
He's
between season 4 and 5, we were assuming that Wesley was still kind of an outsider. Even toward the end, he was like,
Right.
he was almost like an outside contractor that was helping them because he wasn't really a part of the group. But then he is in season 5, and so we're supposed
A
to assume
rogue demon hunter.
we were supposed to assume he was given memories to slot him back in and cancel out everything he did.
I have a-
Which-
I love.
Go ahead.
I was
I
just gonna
love
say,
that
which is
scene.
oh.
Oh, sorry. Go. No, you go.
Yay, video chat.
Which is very important for making him stable, and the not just the fact that he gets that wiped away as fiction, but also that he's been living a lie for a while. There's a lot to go into, but as we progress, I guess we'll try and go into it.
So the drinking rules are now altered. There's still Me Sad. There's
Mhm.
Crazy West. There's I Love Scene Character. There's Southern Belle. And there's
What's
Super Chats. A Southern Belle is...
I know what a Southern Belle is. Oh, okay, Fred.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that scene where I think it's Angel, Cordy, and Wes, where he's like, okay, well, I guess I'll be off. And he's just like begging for one of them to be like, no, stay.
I kind of feel like a van going 50, 60 miles an hour would have cleaned it, Connor's clock anyway.
All right, because he's not invincible.
Yeah, he's not invincible. He still has the powers of a vampire.
Well, Saja nearly kills him.
Yeah.
See,
But I
does
suppose-
he have powers? I thought he was just like Kung Fu Kid or something.
No super strength. He definitely has strength.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
can
that's-
absorb
yeah,
a lot
okay,
of punishment. But if you hit Angel with a truck going 50 miles an hour, it's going to
Yeah,
take a little
Angel
while to
does
get
not
up.
get up like la 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 la.
Yeah.
He's like, oof.
Mm.
Yeah, the parents might be exaggerating. Like maybe he had a bloody mouth and nose, and he got up slowly, and they were just like, "How are you alive?"
MPAC points out, someone said, I love that scene. I I'm not going to guess
Whoops.
as to who said that.
That was me. That was me. I was
The
talking
biggest
about
defender
early
of that
Wes.
rule.
I know, and I'm the one drinking water. Yeah, it was the scene
That's good.
early Wes where he's like, "Oh well, I guess I'll go now." I'm sorry, but this theme
it's okay.
song shits all over Buffy's.
Oh yeah, it's not even a competition.
I don't know about musically, but I get considerably more joy when I hear Buffy's theme.
Buffy's like high and happy and energetic, but this has like
This applies
it's
to all
like-
tones.
yeah, but it's I love that cello. That's what it is. The
This is
cello's
a-
amazing.
This is part of this applies to Hill House again, but also Westworld and even Daredevil. There's a lot of shows where the intro needs to match the tone of the episode, or at least what the show is about, because it'll slot you right in. Buffy's is such a jarring, like, blah, 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 blah. You're like, what the hell?
The person I watched Hill House with pointed out that the intro music for that and both Westworld sound very similar, and they do.
It's a trend that's happening. It's in American Gods as well, where they show items and elements with interesting lighting or different kinds of, like, there's lots of different styles, but and it's instrumental, but it's usually tied to the show, and it's just it's much better than just going, actor smiles and then it says this person as this person, because immersion. You're like,
could you imagine that if it was like a soap opera opening?
yeah, they've dropped them since like early 2000s, I think, started to get rid of them.
Yeah. Sorry, sitcom, not soap opera.
Oh yeah, you know what? I don't know if they've kept them for like comedy shows typically. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, American Gods has a fantastic intro.
We know what this
I've
place
been
does
meaning
to
to
good
watch
people.
that.
Oh, I forgot that this was involved in this.
Oh.
This
Gunn
was.
makes himself.
I mean, this
quite
is what
the
I'm talking
damning
about.
Choice here.
This is what I'm talking about. The whimsical fantasy aspect. I mean, this is horrifying whimsy, of course, but it's still whimsy.
Whimsical.
What show are you watching?
No, I'm just talking about how I think horrifying whimsical is a fair assessment. I'm talking about how this kind of unfathomable thing exists in this universe and that they have access to it. It's so creative and thoughtful. I mean, it's like ugly Narnia. Like the demon gives him the oven light. The demon just gave him the oven light. It's amazing. It's so good.
And it almost has a dreamlike quality to it.
Yeah,
like a never-ending dream.
I mean, like it's fantasy in a way that I don't quite feel like we've seen in other areas. That the partners are a law firm and they have a dimension where a guy lives in a suburban paradise, but periodically has his heart cut out, and then the demon gives him a stove light. What the hell? That's so awesome.
Yeah, like on paper though, it shouldn't work.
It shouldn't work, but it does.
Also, there's some people talking about the body. They still have Buffy's intro in the body, and I still hate it.
Yeah, they do have the intro in the body.
Absolutely hate it. I guess they're contractually obligated or something, but I wish they didn't have it.
Yeah, same.
They did a good job though. They do the whole like they split up the scene before the intro is the thing we've seen already. Then we see the intro, and then they cut us in slowly with the everything's
Christmas
happening scene.
Yeah, which he wrote.
The dinner scene.
He wrote
like,
specifically because he had to have credits over a bit of the episode, and so the only reason that scene exists is so that it can be the part that the text covers over, and then the rest of the episode is stark and music free and so forth.
Yeah, like I said, if I was forced to have the intro, that's the kind of creativity I'd be like, yeah, this is how we solve this.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're mentioning American Gods. Neil Gaiman is a similar kind of fantasy creator to that sort of thing, where it's like
he's such an incredible writer.
So outside the lines and so interesting and inventive. Actually, this season feels very Neil Gaiman in that way.
Yeah. He's married to Amanda Palmer, who's a very talented musician.
I like this
Oh,
when
Adam
Hamilton is
Baldwin.
like, "Let me
Yeah,
make this
Jane.
clear. I'm not the same character as Eve. I'm not a throwaway." Like he's new. Definitely a moment of Angel stops like being just as forceful and angry. He's like, "Okay, fine. How do we solve this then?"
Oh, the picture is so pretty.
Yeah, no, I like the cleanliness of it.
Hmm.
Oh no, Jack's marveling at the HD version.
That's what I mean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like everything being clean, not fuzzy.
I wasn't saying Adam Baldwin is so pretty.
Sophia says you guys say guy man. If I'm
Oh
mispronouncing
yeah, it's
that,
Gaiman, I think.
Gaiman. Okay, sorry,
Yeah, it's
didn't mean to
Gaiman.
mispronounce that.
Yoiman.
Yeah, he's a member of your Blackthorn.
Well, he's not. He doesn't know about it. Yeah, it's Cordelia that puts him on track for that.
Oh yeah.
Well, no. I mean, what's his name? Jane doesn't seem to know.
Oh, hang on. Sorry. Your welcome is actually before this episode. In fairness.
Oh.
Yeah,
we
this
have
is
to assume that Angel doesn't know that yet.
this is part of the Blackthorn arc.
Okay.
I was actually about to say, yeah, Angel doesn't know any of the members until he actually gets to see their faces.
Yeah, Angel turning down the job becomes a part of Wesley's mistrust of him.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Is Sarjan dead yet?
it's a part of. That's another. I always appreciate that they actually finished Sarjan's story in season 5. They didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
But is he dead yet? Or
No,
No,
he's
that's
not.
this
He dies in
episode.
this episode.
This is the that's the episode.
Oh,
we're
this
on.
is the episode. Oh, cool.
It is kind of, though. I did feel like I was just like Connor just sort of rolls off the table and chops his head off, and I was like, oh, okay. Like killing Sarjan was a little easier than I thought.
It's still a pretty cool scene, though.
Well, I think it's the way I would justify it, because I do feel like it's justified, is that Sarjan is like, you're easy, and then he's like, he lets his guard down a little bit and just gets his head chopped
Yeah.
off because that's all it takes.
Yeah. And see,
And man,
he clearly remembers how to fight.
I know that we had to do the whole Holtz is using Connor to try and kill Angel almost in season 3, but I
just
think I
find
could
it
have
so
been okay.
exhausting.
I think I would have been okay with it if in season 4 he became this character after realizing he was wrong.
Okay.
Finally learning, because they make a joke about it at one point, how Connor just never fucking learns. He's constantly used by everybody.
Yeah, bringing him back in this way to me was like they knew the show was ending, and so they were wrapping
Finishing
up
the
arcs.
plot threads.
Yeah,
Right.
but that I don't consider like this is not Connor. Like people are talking about, well, Connor had redemption in season 5, or Connor in season 5 was cool. No, that's because his mind was erased.
Okay,
It's
but
not
if we kept
Connor.
it as the real Connor, there's just no redeeming him unless you give him like 2 seasons to come down.
Exactly.
Okay, but
And
that's
to be honest,
my point.
I don't disagree with you. I think that Connor was so toxic that to fix him, they had to remove him from the body.
Yeah.
He's still better than Dawn.
No.
And besides, we do, as Jack said before, like we get Connor is there at the end. You know,
Yeah,
he's there.
It does feel posthumous, but it is there. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a bit of an emotional hook for Angel.
You could definitely talk about how it's almost like this is Connor gets given a soul almost. This character here is the soul.
Yeah, because he's so warm.
He's so happy, warm, and family oriented. That's the part of Connor
Yeah.
that was missing.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
The ability to trust, ability to believe in people.
locking away the memories that he had of the Hell Dimension allowed him to access that aspect of his soul. He was so
Right.
corrupted by the darkness and the things that had happened to him, and by Holtz and revenge and whatever, that he never really had a chance at self-determination. And this is like, so sure, this aspect of him may have been latent, but it still was not a part of the Connor that we saw for
That's what I'm
2
saying.
seasons.
Is that he was giving it back if it was gone. But this character here, I would say, is a different character entirely. It is. Angel wrote this character. Or, well, we can assume he sort of had a hand in writing it.
He helped construct his memories, I think is the implication. Sophia says, I hope you know that when you arrive at Season 4 reviews, we fully expect you to go crazy negative and fracking deck Connor with your mean words.
The fact that she's just said that means that you're probably going to be like, let's try and look at the other end of the spectrum. Let's see if we can find something positive.
No, you have already said it in the video. Connor is the worst.
Yeah, there's probably
going to be
there's probably going to be some variety of the Connor hatred bell in whatever form it takes. Where...
that'd be cool.
Tiny detail that I love. So he said earlier, he said, I hit you, you tell me how hard it hits, then I write that down on my clipboard. And then he gets booted out of this place, and she throws the clipboard at him after.
Is this where she says she wants to keep him as a pet?
I think so.
Boris points out a very funny detail. He still has a thing for older women. Funny and
like,
gross, because his previous older woman is Cordelia.
Oh, yeah.
They were supposed to fix that. That's a great way
Here we go.
to make the bad and awkward parts of Season 4 kind of funny.
Hey, hang on. I'm calling for silence.
I'd like to keep this one as my pet.
And then she says... I totally feel you, Connor. Totally feel you.
She says it like it's something should be reported whenever just by the way, this one likes me. Also, interesting detail is that means that Connor has fallen in love with 2 ancient demons.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Jasmine's one of the cast out old ones, I think.
Yeah.
Well, she came from an alternate dimension, but she went to that dimension at first, right? To conquer a planet of bugs. And Wesley comments on how that must have been unfulfilling to have a bug army. And she wanted a human army instead. Or
I
something
like how Illyria mentions the shrimp dimension as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool little
Banya.
Yeah.
People in chat are complaining about Riley's sex face.
By the way, Cal, that video was brilliant. Like, it was so seamless and well made, man. Oh, well
When he
done.
did it live, I put a note on my notepad. I was like, I actually sent you a message. Where do I find it to download? And then I deleted it because I was like, no spoilers.
It was so well done, man.
Thomas says, wasn't she a cast out higher power? I get the two confused. I thought she was an old god.
Yeah.
She's like a deposed ruler or something.
Because
So
Glory was a
cast-out
cast out god, wasn't she?
She's a cast out power that be.
Is that it? Oh, that's interesting. That's another thing that never really explored in this show. Both the powers that be and the senior partners aren't necessarily... The most lore we get about the senior partners is in Season 2 of Angel. And it's sad because when I go through with friends and they learn the bits and bobs about them in Season 2, they're like, oh man, this is going to build something big, isn't it? And I'm like,
Quinn says, is there a distinction made between the powers that be and the old ones? I actually don't know. That aspect of the lore, I think, was mostly developed in the comics. And I'm not 100%.
I always looked at it as an allegory for powers that be were essentially God, and Satan was the senior partners.
Yeah, that fits.
And they both influence. They can't do much other than influence.
Do we think the Connor storyline is similar to Tabula Rasa? That makes me think he would have been a fundamentally good person if not for Holtz. Well, I think the idea is that if they... like we were saying, I think if the idea is if they locked away the torture that he experienced, that eventually drove him to insanity by the end of the whole thing, that he had that opportunity at self-determination, choice, and goodness.
This.
You just gotta be able to feel bad for Wesley. He's trying to get back to normal life, and then he's told that well, he assumes there's a chance he can get Fred back. It's just bringing him all the way back into the pain.
Mm.
The corpse of his lost love is walking around with someone else inside of her.
Yeah, that's also a
Jeez.
fun thing for him.
Oh no, I'm thinking about would you like me to lie to you now? Oh.
I'll drink for we said.
Everything's sad.
Yeah, drink.
Yeah, also, the senior partners compared to the first evil, that's interesting. It's like, do they know each other? Are they connected? Are they the same thing?
I was thinking about it last night. Actually, the first is such an underwhelming villain, so
A little
underwhelming.
bit, yeah. The idea is like it's just bad's ability to be bad in the form of a thing.
Well,
But it was kind of meant to be like the Buffy versus representation of Satan in a way, the first evil.
Yeah, they say that it's not allowed to do shit, but because they resurrected Buffy, it means it can now.
Mm.
It's kind of like, okay.
But the whole corporeal thing, it just I don't know.
It didn't
just
really
made
have power in amends either.
Yeah, it's just a sort of it's a devil character where it's just trying to tempt
the evil in all of us,
which is fine.
I mean,
but they made it a
the
main villain.
harbor binges looked cool. I guess that's all I can really say.
My favorite part of the first was just generating the other villains to bring them back for their moments.
That was fun. Like Adam and the mayor, I think. Drusilla. Ah, yep. Here we go.
He's got the ears of the vampires from the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie.
Yeah.
I don't see how Vale wouldn't be able to kill Sargon. Considering he's flesh and blood and can be killed by a headshot, you'd think Vale could set it up.
I think they say it's actual predestination because of the prophecy.
Like he has to be killed by Connor.
Yeah, he has to be killed by Connor.
He vaguely reminds me of the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh, by the way, not a fan of prophecies in general, but the reason I like them in Buffy is because they don't mean anything most of the time. As in, like, X is supposed to happen. It could be a lie. It could be a mistruth. It could be the truth. It could be anything, really.
But there's also the idea that we are the masters of our own fate.
What I'm saying is, like, I don't like it if it's set in stone, a prophecy. I like the fact that it's just information. It makes characters decide things based on being told it, and then they find out at the end, was it actually true?
Well, they're tricky things. Like the Master says to her in Prophecy Girl, you're the one that sets me free. They're sort of like deliberate, purposeful MacGuffins, where where characters are driven by predestination rather than choice. Because in most cases, the prophecies play out poorly or wrong. In this case, Angel was trying to control choice himself. Connor may have been... It's sort of like Spike's chip in Season 4. I mean, Connor may have been corrupted and all of that, but to completely remove his memories alters the core being of who he actually is. In this case, it works out because he has developed enough and related to his family enough that when you restore those memories, he has an emotional base to not collapse psychologically.
Okay.
But
that could have happened, and I could have believed it, but they did a different thing, and I could believe it too.
Yeah.
Well,
while Wesley, on the other hand, kind of collapses.
But what's the prophecy specifically that he collapses with? I was just talking about Connor. What I'm saying is I think the writers use prophecy in a way to sort of almost as parody or satire for the sake of if something is prophecy, then generally it leads to terrible things where the characters all making their own choices and choosing who they are and what they do. works out for the best. And the prophecy that Buffy needs to die to fight the Master works out poorly, because it turns out she's the one that sets the Master free. Angel renouncing the Shanshu prophecy turns out to be the way to go, because the Shanshu is sort of not allowing him total self-determination and choice, which is the underlying sort of baseline philosophy of both shows.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Bit of a
Yeah.
rant there. I apologize.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that other than I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah, I was gonna say
the prophecy that drives Wes to steal Connor was written by Sajan. So
mhm.
in all cases, prophecy on the show
Well,
is.
It's what I mean by like the reason I like them in Buffy and Angel is that they are presented to the characters, and the characters have to make choices based off that information.
Mm-hmm.
The information itself is never actually. It's rarely exactly what it says.
And she made the choice to go down and face the Master.
Yeah. And it's like I said, we are the masters of our own fate.
It would be like if someone told, I don't know, any of us, it's like, you will be hit by a car in 2 weeks. We'd be like, what the? But well, I'll just not go outside my house. And then the car comes through the window of your room. Like, oh shit.
Wow, we have 63 viewers currently.
Nice.
Wow.
I love that demon, but it also reminds me of Guar every time I see it.
Guar?
Who?
Yeah. The band.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see
It's
that.
so Guar.
I've seen Guar live and they're so insane. One of the best stage shows I've ever seen.
I don't know who that is. I feel out of the loop.
They're a metal band. They wear like their whole shtick is they are like these aliens from another planet,
Yeah,
and they
it's like-
dress up in like monster costumes. I mean, I'm not really into the music as such, but they're just such a fun band to see live.
I think they are mediocre musicians who found who are more
Exactly, yeah.
entertainers.
Exactly,
Yeah.
I completely agree with
But
that.
the design of that demon.
But their music isn't terrible. It's just not
And
really my cup of tea.
And Gunn
I was
chooses
just-
his suffering.
Random thought. I was trying to think of like the most self-fulfilling prophecy possible, and I was like, what about a prophecy that says you will read this prophecy? It's like, you couldn't. Well, yes.
That's a little paradoxical, though. I guess.
I guess, yeah. I think I'm not sure. I'm sure someone's gonna have a better example of a self-fulfilling prophecy, probably.
Raphael Lemus asks, "Were you front row? Lol, did you get wet?" Yes, I got covered in fake blood. It was amazing. I loved it. It was so good.
See, they're like the Gallagher of the horror metal world.
Yeah, yeah. They beheaded the prime minister, an effigy of the prime minister, or like someone dressed up in like an exaggerated costume, and all this blood came spurting out. It was so good. Like one of them, I had so much fun watching that band.
Oh yeah, someone said, or Quinn said, the prophecy was 100% fake, though it wasn't a misinterpretation. That's part of what I like, is that you don't know if they're lies or a play on words or whatever else. Because when they reveal that the prophecy was a lie, that's not even something we thought was possible.
Yeah,
as an audience,
but
but
Sajan
it's
can
completely
travel in
reasonable. It's like,
time.
yeah, he wrote it. You're just like, oh, that's a thing that can. Wow, okay.
Yeah.
And Sajan can travel through time, so it's more than reasonable that he could do that. Poor Wesley chasing ghosts.
Yeah. He really is like the perfect example of a tragic hero in so many ways.
Fred's memories were changed. This is a great detail. Ah, yes, self-fulfilling prophecy. You will think of an elephant. Although I've had enough wine at this point that I'm actually not thinking of an elephant. But
wouldn't that just be the "you will read this prophecy"?
Yeah.
I'm purposefully thinking of a giraffe just to spite you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
John,
So,
how are you, sir?
after this episode, Wesley's just if you remember,
A total
Time bomb.
shell. Yeah.
Time bomb where Gunn comes back and Lorne is like, don't go into Wesley's office. He's just not. It's too difficult to even say what he is at this point.
Yeah, I screwed up. So Southern Belle was Fred. I was thinking the Fred and Wesley bits in this one were when her parents come back, but that's in The Girl in Question. It's the
Yeah.
only
Which,
parts
yes,
of The Girl in Question I enjoy, but it is torture.
My biggest problem with The Girl in Question isn't typically what most people have a problem with. I don't actually mind either story. I just don't think they suit each other for the episode. They need to be separated.
I also think the context. Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. Is the Fred and Wes story highlights where we are in the arc of the season, and the other story is so lightweight and
they're tonally on two sides of a spectrum.
it's very dissonant. If they had made that if they had put the Spike and Angel go to Italy story earlier in the season,
yeah, that's what they should have done.
I may actually have enjoyed it, but in that context, I generally fast forward to the Wes and
Yeah, because every Wes and Illyria scene in that episode is
devastating.
beautiful.
Yeah,
it's horrific. It's just amazing. All of it's
Yeah.
fantastic.
It's flawless, I'd say.
Yeah, I can't say just good words.
Yeah.
It's just really good. But you
Every
got back to
positive
the goofy buddy cop scenes, and you're like, they did buddy cop back in episode 2, and you're like, why didn't you do this in episode 4 or episode whatever?
Mm.
I do.
I know you'd be like, well, he was a ghost. It's like, just make it so the Buffy's in LA temporarily. But obviously, to be honest, the fact that they couldn't get Sarah Michelle Gellar should have told them they should rewrite the episode.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't
I
do
think
this one.
so too. It ruins the immersion because it's clearly not her, so it takes me out of it. I can't stand it.
Well, I mean, sort of canonically, they say that that's one of her doubles, which is a story that's occurring in the comic books. She,
what?
yeah. So in the comic books,
Okay.
she has recruited several former potentials to act as her, as body doubles, and it turns out that that was a body double and not her. She wasn't.
Can I just say two things? One being
That's still
Sajan's makeup.
dumb.
Sajan's makeup looks fantastic, and 2, I can't believe that that's the actor that plays the "you're a girl" guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, look at that makeup; it's so cool. The rope that goes around.
Yeah,
his
I was
head.
just gonna say I'd never noticed that before. The rope goes through his face and then around his neck.
Yeah.
You just it
And
makes
it looks-
you wonder what that's about. Isn't it?
And I'm probably wrong, but some of his scars look like runes or something.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's-
definitely.
They're
Very cool.
self-scarification.
Or like
You guys
like
remember the
Aramaic or something, Sumerian.
Skip and the Beast? Both of them, their makeup is awesome.
Oh yeah, Skip is amazing. I also love Skip. Drink.
Skip's awesome. When he's like, it's a long commute to work.
He's talking to him. It's
Yeah,
like
you know-
it's like a dad watching his son's first football game.
Yeah. So you got Wesley post season 4 screw ups has been put in the freezer, and you have totally well adjusted Wesley having to deal with the death of Fred. And this is that's what I mean by the multi layers. It's like
Yeah.
you have the reveal of all that history, so you get current Wesley dealing with the fact that it was all in vain. It doesn't bring Fred back at all, and that you've done all of this shit in the past, by the way.
Yeah.
And then you're actually bringing that character back from the end of season 4, who kind of hates Team Angel, to be honest. Like he's got a lot of animosity towards them for all the stuff that he did. So you've just got 2 characters plus their separate reactions to everything that's going on, and then old Wesley dealing with the fact that Fred's dead.
Yeah, many layers.
It's so complicated as what's going on in his head, and it explains how he just doesn't care that he's going to die after this.
But yeah, I have to admit this scene kind of redeems Connor for me. It really does. Like, not completely, but it makes me like him significantly more.
Well,
Quinn
I guess
Sinclair-
Ian's argument would be it's not Connor, right?
Would the girl
Yeah,
in
I
question have
guess.
been better if they had gotten Sarah, so it was clear they weren't doing what they did because they only had a body double?
It still would have been like a bit of a weird episode, but I'd like it a bit more.
I always felt like the inclusion of Buffy as being easily seduced by whoever that character. Oh, she still has the time freeze bar.
But isn't the point
the
that
immortal?
isn't the point that we get their perspective on the immortal when the immortal is probably a pretty decent guy according to Andrew?
Oh yeah.
And let's not screw around here. Buffy falls in love with people pretty fast.
I don't know about that. We need.
What do you mean?
I think we need
she
a moment.
Connects with people in like a day.
We need a moment of silence.
Oh yeah, good point. Oh well, we can talk over this bit.
I don't think Buffy's easy. Like
I didn't say she was easy.
You
said that she does it fast.
What is the? She resisted dating Riley for quite a long time, and arguably she and Spike.
Yeah, and she jumped on Parker in the meantime. That makes it look bad.
Yeah, Parker was a rebound. Parker was a rebound. Everyone suffers the occasional horrible rebound. I'm not sharing any personal anecdotes on that. I'm just saying everyone suffers a rebound from time to time. But that's a different. To say that she connects or falls in love with.
She did fall for Parker very quickly. Granted, he was very smooth.
The idea is we haven't seen Buffy for possibly just over half a season. It's more than reasonable that she's bumped into the immortal, got on a couple of dates. Look how fast she nearly fell for Wood.
For who?
I've heard that.
Not to mention, you got Wood, you've got the Doctor in season 5.
She didn't fall for Wood. They went on one date.
I said, look how quickly she nearly fell for Wood.
Don't they kiss? Oh no, that's
shit.
fake.
We should. This is a bit.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's basically everything to do with Connor comes back.
Ahmed says, "Are they forgetting Luke Perry? He's still canon."
No,
no, he's not.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh,
yeah,
we just went through that earlier.
Making full use. I feel like season 5 did its best to use season 4 for good.
Yeah.
They did make something interesting out of it. They definitely made something interesting out of it.
This ruins them all.
Well, in fairness, again, it's Lorne doesn't know about this or is not affected.
Lorne should be affected now.
No. This only affects the people in the vicinity of the area. This is not anybody else.
Oh, really?
I never got that piece of lore.
No, me neither. Okay.
I thought it would restore.
He says if it's destroyed near anybody who's had their memories altered, the old ones come back.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't just do it for like the whole world or anything. Remember, the window of Orlon is not specific to Wesley memories or Connor memories. It's literally it'll work on anybody who's had memories.
Hey, so the real Connor kills Sarjan.
Yeah.
Well,
that's why Connor comes back.
This is an interesting thing. This is not the real Connor. But
it's 50-50.
Here's my take on it.
It's 50-50, yeah.
One of the weird things about the show is how Angelus's personality is different every time. So Angelus in season 2 is different than season 1 on Eternity is different than the one. He goes from. Yeah, the performance is very different every time.
Wait, make your point anyway. We can't get caught up on that.
So but my way of sort of compartmentalizing that or understanding that is that every time he's not actually different characters. He is the sum total of Angel's memories up to that point. So in season
how he taunts Wesley and all that.
Yeah, in season 4 when he's brought out in the cage, or is it season 3? They're all sort of blurring together at the moment. That caged version of Angelus is a different Angelus than the one that tortures Giles at the end of season 2.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, he has different memories.
But to me, I just don't think is starkly different.
The idea is that Angelus is always there. He's just watching whatever everything Angel does, just like Angel watches everything Angelus does.
Yeah, and that's hinted at a lot.
Yeah. So this Quinn says season 5 Connor
this is the thing. This is a bit.
Also, she got Fred's memories.
Yep.
They were restored.
That's an interesting question. Does this make you Wesley?
Yeah. Wait, wouldn't he have like seen the scar on his throat and been like, "Where did this come from?"
I think that they must have lasered it off or something because he doesn't have it. Right?
Yeah, it's not there. So
It's Wolfram and Hart. I could believe it.
yeah, true. Illyria's still hot. Sorry.
That's what you take from that scene.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I was watching it, but he's still hot, okay?
I still really like this scene as well between them.
Yeah.
I do love the acknowledgement. I love the acknowledgement. I think it's really well done.
I've always said that as much as I hate Connor in season 4, I absolutely adore the last episode, or the penultimate episode where Connor says, "You let him get me."
Yeah.
It's very like that's what I always wanted for the Connor's arc, if you will, to come back to. I really wish Holtz didn't take me because of realizing Holtz is not a good guy.
Yeah.
Very sad, but it's just unfortunate that it doesn't mean as much as it could if they just made season 4 not awful.
I mean, people sort of highlight Orpheus as the episode that suggests that Angelus and Angel are distinct personalities, but the whole point of Orpheus is that he's the same person. At the end of the episode, when he absorbs Angelus into one, he's sort of accepting the weight of Angelus's crimes and actions and all of that. But it's also, to me, suggesting they're the same person. So, sort of temporarily, while they're split, it's one thing.
Yeah, it's like it's like you've got the trinity of Liam, Angel, and Angelus, and and the distinction gets like muddied.
You could get fantastical enough that you're in a coma and you could talk to your drunk self, your super drunk self, and how you guys differ on things.
Yeah, I guess.
You're still the same. It's very conceptual.
But yeah, I still treat them like different characters.
I think I should.
Well, would you treat your drunken self different from yourself? Because I do.
Well, yes, but see, drunk me is just like louder and funnier and no inhibitions, or mostly no. Yeah,
that's kind of what I'm arguing. Like, inhibitions are extremely important to essentially changing who you. It'll have drastic effects on who you are. Your choice to say or not say, to do or not do.
Yeah, like being drunk doesn't make you a different person. It just makes you more honest. So really, it makes you more who you are in a way.
To quote Batman, it's not who you are underneath, but what you do that defines you.
Yeah.
So you and drunk you are going to be very different.
My friends actually coined a name for drunk me.
Oh?
Tan Martin. There's a long story. There's a long story behind it, but yeah. Anyway, we missed a couple of questions. Raphael says, is any character story arc left unfinished more than Drusilla? Last time we see her action was Crush.
She just disappears.
Yeah, she's left on the cutting room floor pretty much. As a character.
Yeah, and that's sad because she was such a cool and
I don't
interesting
get why.
character.
It almost seems like season 5 is like she's coming back, and it's like she's not.
She's like criminally underused. Maybe though because she was just so nuts that they didn't know what to do with her.
Well, and her arc from being a seer before, and then Angelus choosing her for it, and killing her family in front of her and making her insane, to me is so much more an interesting commentary on Angel than Connor. Because of the sort of conscious decisions of it. She's sort of the living embodiment of the evil. Like, if you're talking about a redemption story, she is the living embodiment of all the terrible things that he did.
Yeah, doesn't he even say she was the worst?
Yeah, I've done a lot of terrible things in my life. Drusilla was the worst. But
wasted opportunity with Drusilla, absolutely.
I don't know character story left unfinished more than Drusilla, but certainly she is one of the ones that is sort of a major
And
loss.
Yeah,
makes you wonder,
like
did
I
something
said, very
happen?
underused.
Because that seems like the kind of thing Joss Whedon would love to explore.
I know that I've heard Juliet Landau say herself that she did ask for a part in Once More with Feeling, but the script was already written, so they couldn't do it.
You just
No.
need to look at Spike and Vamp Willow to see they are the same person. That's kind of the evidence for it. Like I feel like the idea is not to try and figure out why Angel and Angelus are separate personalities, but to figure out the ways in which they are like the other evil characters in the stories.
It's complicated. It depends how you define same person.
Well, yeah. Well, and I think, my point is that I think without Orpheus, we don't really have to make that distinction. I think Orpheus is the episode that cauterizes the idea that they're separate characters.
And that they sort of exist within each other.
Right. And I think that's the point that people don't go all the way with, which is that the point of Orpheus is that they are the same character, and Angel needs to accept Angelus and the deeds as but I did them.
Yeah.
Xander getting split also like Angel in Orchestra. I do remember that. Orpheus, not Orchestra. Stacey's
Orchestra.
All right, friends. Well, I think we are at an end.
Mm-hmm.
So I get to pick what we watch the next time.
Yay!
And that'll be sometime in January. And when we'll probably sit down and record another commentary. But either way,
do you have any idea what it'll be, or
no? I'm not gonna. I don't spoil.
Yeah, it's a secret, but I think we've already discussed it.
Yeah, we have. So I appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoy these streams. We certainly do, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, guys.
goodbye?